Aha. Oh. And we're back. Seems to be working. Okay. And now I gotta do my little test. Oh, this shit gotta get turned off before that shit crash my shit. What's going on, Silky? What is this thing? Why? Alright, go back here because you're messing up my YouTube thing. Okay. Now I just need to test out and see how everything's going before we actually start the show. It seems to be working, but let me take a look. Oh, it is recording. Oh, I gotta say it again. Welcome to Allow Discussion, where we have two topics to talk about today. Our first topic being Sony Outrage, and the second topic being the hardware differences between the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and the PC. I've had this discussion, this discourse between a fellow Twitter person, whatever you want to call him, and he just seems to always have this thing. You know, like this bone to pick with consoles. And like one of my favorite games, one of the phrases that they used a lot, and I'm sure they didn't come from this game, but confidence is quiet. Confidence is quiet. If you're so confident about your hardware, right? If you're so confident about your hardware, if you're so confident about the PlayStation or your PlayStation 5, or I'm sorry, your PC, beating out the PlayStation or the Xbox, what's your problem? Why create these things? So one of the things, it's a pet peeve of mine, to just see people try to sow discord, just want to just be drama written and shit like that. It's very annoying. I'm just kind of tired of it, and I'm wondering when people are going to be tired of it as well. Which kind of leads into my first topic that I do want to talk about, and we're about to get into it. But before we get into it, don't forget to follow the YouTube channel that's called Illicit Therapy as well. That's where all of these videos get archived. I don't think you can archive any recordings unless you record it on your own on Twitter, which is just being simultaneously recorded and broadcast as well. But don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel called Illicit Therapy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. And same thing with the Twitter handle, the Twitter profile. Don't forget to follow that as well. And I don't have any intros or anything like that. We're gonna get just straight into it because why the fuck not? The first thing I want to do is talk about the outrage that Sony has been getting in general. Before we even go in there, because I already know the topic that people want to actually talk about. Quite frankly, is, what the fuck do I mean by the PS5, Xbox Series X, and the PC? I trick your motherfucking asses. All that fanboy shit. Anybody that has any type of discussion or want to have a discussion about the Xbox being better or worse, it has nothing to do with the Xbox being better or worse. I'm sorry to disappoint you. This wasn't about the PlayStation. This wasn't about the Xbox. This was specifically about PC. And there are hardware differences in general. But I wanted to kind of kill two birds with one stone and put that out there because people are fucking annoying. That's just the net of it. People are annoying. So before I even go into that particular comparison, right? Oh, what the fuck? I'm sorry. We had some discourse between, or just on the interwebs, right, where people were just consistently complaining about PlayStation 5 and what they were doing. The first thing was, um, once again, people were actually having issues with PS5 games or PlayStation games going to PC. There was a leak, I think almost 2 years ago, regarding like some sort of NVIDIA leak. They had to go through them to try to see what, APIs or whatever the case is. Regardless of the matter, there was several games that came out. Ghost of Tsushima being one of them. Sackboy: Big Adventure, Returnal, Uncharted. And then you also had Jim Ryan mentioning that they're going to pursue putting their games out on PC. Now, I think last week or the week before we talked about this shit. Actually, we just keep talking about the same shit. And I don't really have a problem discussing this shit over and over again. I truly don't. I truly don't have a problem with discussing this shit over and over again. But that's just a testament to how much people are just, I don't know, dumb as hell and wanting to have to consistently talk about this over and over again. I don't know what this reassurance is. Sony has made a stand and said that they were going to put their games out on PC. Period. You don't like it, then buy something the fuck else. I don't know what else to tell you. You know what I mean? You already knew about this. So I go online on Twitter and I'm literally seeing people jump in, right? They jump in here and this is what they say. It's actually, I didn't even put it in there. My mistake. There's something for you guys to fucking read here. I'll put it in the Twitter. I probably gotta do this. The Twitter chat here. But let me tell you, this shit was so fucking annoying. I am so tired of reading this shit over and over again. It's just dumb to me. It's dumb. But okay. This one is the thread here. And this is what I want to actually show in the space here. So Nebo actually had a tweet basically kind of confirming that Little Big Planet or a Big Adventure, Sackboy: Big Adventure was going to come out on the PC. Launched October 27th, according to early release trailer, right? This was kind of leaked out a little bit earlier than expected, and it was really, really fucking leaked out. The cat was completely out the bag almost 2 years ago. So we've been getting this over and over again. The first game that came out was I can't think if it was Days Gone or Horizon. I think it was first we had a situation with Death Stranding, which we already knew that was going to be a PC release, right? We already fucking knew that was going to be a PC release. But for some reason, people were shocked. Oh, so if it's Sony name on it, it means that it's exclusive to the PS5. And Sony's been making PC games for the longest. I don't understand. Like PS3, PS2. Before they even had a fucking console, they had fucking EverQuest and shit. Well, around the same time they had their first console. They had EverQuest and things of that nature. They also had PlanetSide, all these other shits that they've been doing. And for some reason, it's a fucking surprise to them. Surprise, motherfucker. There you go. So Death Stranding, that came out. Then people kind of corrected anyone that had misinformation regarding the Death Stranding being like basically just published by Sony or funded by Sony. And then Horizon Zero Dawn came out years later. People finally calmed down from that. Everybody's biting their nails. I'm going to sell my PS5. What's the fucking point of having a PS5 if Sony going to do that? Sony, you betrayed us. All this other stupid shit that they were basically saying. All right, cool. So that came out. Then they were like, well, they're only doing it to really, really old games. So I think the next game that they did was Days Gone, which was around 2 years. Then they're like, well, no one cares about Days Gone anyway. It didn't sell well, so we get it. You'll never get Spider-Man. You'll never get God of War. God of War comes out. Well, you'll never get Spider-Man. Spider-Man comes out. Well, you'll never get Uncharted. Uncharted comes out. And every time when this shit comes out, there's a complaint. as if no one knows that this is going to happen. So the latest victim to this, even though we already knew this shit 2 years ago, Sackboy, A Big Adventure, is going to PC. And if you look in here, these are the fucking comments. Jim Ryan once again prioritizing PC ports over actual new announcements, future showcases, well, everything. And here's the fucking problem with that comment. We just had a state of play that you saw the new God of War trailer. You saw what is it? That Stellar Blade. You saw the Ronin game that was made by Team Ninja. We literally just had this. We just had a fucking showcase, if you will. And then they show some things about VR. There's a lot of different arms to this fucking business. Then we worried about your little stupid fucking feelings. And we all know what's really going on with this. The people have a problem. Their issues has nothing to do with worried about the integrity of the console, or what's the point of having a PC. This is just to have these exclusives that they will never buy. I guarantee you, no, these complainers, they do not have Sackboy. If I click onto this bastard's name and scroll through his Twitter feed, there is no Sackboy any fucking where. There's no Sackboy. I like, what? Let me take a look to see if no requests so far, so okay, cool. No fucking Sackboy. No Sackboy at all. So really, you're just complaining because your narrative about the PlayStation 5 being the best place to play and having the highest scores is crumbling down. Well, a couple of different things. Not MPDs. What the fuck is it? Metacritic? A lot of that shit is paid the fuck off. It doesn't matter if it's Sony paying people off. Doesn't matter if it's Microsoft or PC or the fucking publishers themselves. Fucking Elden Ring is essentially a Souls game that is an open world game with a shit ton of problems. Get game of the fucking generation. You already know something's fucked up with that anyway. Deathloop. I never was interested in Deathloop even before the acquisition of Microsoft. Did not care about that fucking game. Was not interested in that game. And somehow that gets 10s across the fucking board. Somehow that gets 10s across the board. So a lot of Sony fanboys will go out and use the Metacritic to validate their fucking purchases for games that they never fucking buy. It is absolutely asinine. They only announced one new game at the state of play. The thing is, a lot of people were looking for more information. This is what I'm getting on YouTube, by the way. Actually, let me go back to see what they're saying. Okay, that's him. So let me go back here. A lot of people are actually having issues, like with new games. For like 4 generations, Sony has been very consistent on bringing groundbreaking titles to their consoles, whether it be collaborations with the third party or them internally doing it. One or the other has happened. There was Horizon Forbidden West, right? There was Gran Turismo. There was fucking Stray if you like your indie fucking games. There's fucking God of War that's fucking coming out. Why do you need to see what's in 2030? Why do you need to see that? They only announced one game. Okay, fine. Actually, it's probably a little bit more than one game. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was probably 2. But that's splitting hairs. Let's split the difference and say that you're right. There's only one game. We didn't know a lot about the fucking games that came out. And a lot of times people want to know more about it. Their showcase, because Sony has a grip on the fucking gaming industry, they've already proved themselves as being quality. And what kills me about this conversation that keeps arising, right, is that no one questions fucking Nintendo when they don't show things for years at a fucking time. No one says anything about fucking Nintendo. No one's complaining. The fucking house isn't burning down when it comes to Nintendo, but guess what? As soon as Sony have a problem, see, I'm glad I called it the outrage of Sony, right? Because this is the problem. Any other fucking publisher or console manufacturer gets they can get away with it. So what if they showed one fucking game? I needed to see more of fucking Stellar Blade. And they already had multiple state of plays throughout the year. They just had one recently with fucking what is it, Forspoken. Are y'all forgetting about those games? Or what? Or that didn't happen? That didn't happen? That's just bonkers to me. Like when I see that, it's dumb. Most of you motherfuckers are grown. Y'all some grown ass motherfuckers complaining about games that you may not fucking buy. What do you expect them to show? What are you waiting for them to show? As a matter of fact, a lot of people say that they were going to PC anyway. Carry your ass to PC and buy your $650 PC. That will only be future proof for a year and a half. Why don't you do that? And you just keep waiting for these fucking last generation games that's supposed to be coming out, that's going to be benchmark shit that could have run on a fucking in 2013. Why don't you go ahead and do that? I'm so sick of these arguments every fucking time. Nintendo gets a pass all the time. That's my point. Nintendo always gets a fucking pass when it comes to this. But it's like all of you guys fucking you thrive off of fucking negativity. Even if Sony didn't release anything on the fucking console, people would, on the PC. It shows you all of these fucking games, which they have the propensity to do. They've done this shit in the past. Guess what would happen? Motherfuckers will come out the woodworks talking about something. I don't want that game. I'm not interested in indie games. Who cares about Sackboy? Who cares about Gravity Rush? Where's your big AAA titles? They show fucking Days Gone. Another zombie game? Another zombie game. I don't feel like it does. Why is it gotta be a zombie game? I wouldn't show your motherfucking shit either, to be honest with you. I wouldn't show you. Worry about 2022. Worry about that. What about that? Worry about that. Because Lord knows you so-called zealots don't buy anything else unless the Metacritic tells you to fucking buy it. That's the second that shit is a fucking 89 or below. You guys y'all abandoned ship. In looking for anything to cry about. See, I used to think that, okay, maybe it's just the fucking Xbox people or Nintendrones that just really fucking annoying. It's you niggas. You. Y'all motherfuckers in second place from Xbox complaining about shit that they're never going to own or don't want to own. Why is it that the PlayStation fanboys, y'all not looking for excellence, y'all looking to complain? Y'all don't even have fucking Sackboy. Show your fucking receipts. Post this shit on Twitter. Does you care so much about Sackboy? Come give me a fucking break. That shit's annoying. That shit's extra fucking annoying. Every time I see that shit, it irritates me every fucking time. I never, ever will not be irritated about that shit. I'm going to cover the fucking gamut with this shit. And before I even go into this shit, I fail to understand most of these people that complain, right? You guys don't even, on Twitter, you guys don't even fucking go out on fucking Twitter posting gameplay pics. Y'all don't go on Twitter posting gameplay pics. You know what y'all do? Y'all post other people tweeting about shit that y'all don't like. You post about complaints. You post Metacritic scores. You post sales numbers. You can't play none of those fucking things. Where's your gameplay? You look at my fucking timeline, you're gonna see it. Or if you do have fucking games that you post, you're not doing anything in the fucking game. Look at this shiny rock. Oh my god, this is the next generation rock. Look at this ray trace reflection on this car. It can't drive a fucking lick. Can't even drive a fucking lick in Gran Turismo. How many of you hardcore zealots bought Gran Turismo? Now, if it goes to PC, you'll be the first motherfuckers in line complaining about their shit being on PC, but you didn't support them. So I say, who gives a fuck? And as for your other Xbox people, Your games are on PC. Shut the fuck up and worry about your console. If you're a PC motherfuckers, go buy another fucking PC. Buy another graphics card. Buy another fucking PC case and shut the fuck up. Oh, I got a PC. I got a PlayStation 5 too. You bought it for no fucking reason. Because I don't see you playing no fucking games. Where's your games? Where's your gameplay footage? I don't want to see a fucking window with ray tracing. I want to see you play in the fucking game. That's what I want to see. Y'all full of shit. Y'all just want to argue and just be little bitches online. It's fucking annoying. Anyway, that's my fucking rant for that one. It's probably not gonna be the only fucking rant, but I'm gonna scroll down and look at the fucking other shit that's going on. So they announced the fucking Death Stranding, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima, Drake, I believe. Then they mentioned about the DLSS and 120 frames. Got me fucking out of breath and shit like that, yelling at y'all motherfuckers. Who the fuck is this? Edward, get your ass in here. What's going on, fool? Eddie. Try this again. Eddie, we like to party. What's going on, bro?
You choosing violence today?
Apparently, I'm choosing violence like a motherfucker, man.
Yeah, no, I don't understand it either. I really don't.
I don't understand. Bro, man. So, I'm going to read the shit that I'm seeing on Twitter. This is a benign tweet. The first thing you see on this fucking tweet, right? If you're on YouTube, you see it there too. A fucking crying Bloodborne because people are begging for Bloodborne, apparently. This is another fucking game that you PlayStation zealots didn't buy. Another one. You bought Elden Ring, though. You remember that? You brought that one. That's multi-platform. So you tell me. You tell me what's the fucking point of the PS5. Because you certainly are buying multi-platform games that you could have already bought a PC for. I'm at a loss. Where's your Bloodborne stuff?
No, I feel you. I hear you, bro. I don't get it. I don't understand it. These games have been out for a minute too, right? So I don't understand. It's gonna be crazy though, man. People are gonna kill themselves when Ghost of Tsushima goes to PC, right?
But are you sure they're gonna kill themselves, or like because they're killing themselves from fucking they Spider-Man shockingly wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought that.
It's just the fact of the matter that the PlayStation Studios games, these first parties, when they go to PC, like people just lose their shit, and I don't understand it.
Every time, you knew about this shit way in advance, and you complain. Yeah, I see you talk about my pumpkin shirt. Yeah, buddy, it's that season.
That damn Halloween shirt, take that shit off.
So another outrage that I see here. Well, let me ask you before I move on to the second outrage. Did you notice that there's just seemingly nothing that Sony can do right? Like nothing. They release some good news. There's always somebody out the woodworks. Oh, they showed the fucking VR with the whole futuristic shit that was what VR, right? Sony's going to try to get over on us. I mean, they increased the price of the PlayStation 5. That shit is probably going to be $700. I wanted that for $200. Come on, so like, did you notice like they can't do anything? They show you God of War. It's still cross-gen. Horizon is one of the best looking games of all time, right? And here we go again. Oh, I just don't like Aloy. And the second that shit go, if they brought that shit to Xbox, you'll be crying your fucking eyes out. But what do you guys say about the PlayStation outrage?
And like I get it. I get the outrage, some of the complaints, even to the point where we're getting like these events and then they drop that, certain games are going to PC. I mean, that's just, we know that Sony is invested in it, right? So of course they have to put that information out. Yeah, they can do it in a blog post. I understand that. Yeah, I understand in the state of play, like we are all there to see the games that are supposed to be featured for like the console and everything. I get that. I do. I understand that. But again, like I know, well, I should say I know. I believe the end game is just to make sure that they have funding for like the sequels to these games, right? So I know like the outcome of like dropping these games on PC is basically extra money to dump back into the studios, you know, so they can create these amazing games for the Premiere platform, right? And eventually, I mean, you can look at every catalog of games that are coming out. Like, for example, Rise of Ronin, right? We all are looking forward to that game. There ain't no way in the back of my mind that at some point in the future that game will be coming to PC, right? Because it's a PlayStation exclusive, and let's say that they Team, what is it?
Team Ninja.
Team Ninja, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they want to, like, if this is going to be another franchise that Sony invests in, and they want to make a sequel to it, you know, and they're gonna need funding for that, right? So, in order to get people hype for like the next game, of course they're gonna try to put that out on several platforms to hype that sequel up. You know what I'm saying? So, to me personally, like, I'm not outraged at Sony by any means of what they're doing, because I know the end goal is just to keep funding these studios for these games that we love and appreciate. So,
but let me stop you here. Before, let me stop you here. Then I'm gonna let Shadow go. First and foremost, y'all keep getting this shit twisted. Y'all getting this shit twisted like Keith Sweat, man. I'm gonna tell you this right now, right? They're not doing it for you. Oh, they're gonna make some good ass game for me. They don't care about you. They care about their image, and they fucking care about like the artists that really put their all into it. They care about making money. See, quality translates into money. It's not for you. It's not like some kind of pact that they made with you. You buy my console, and we're gonna have a blood pact, and we're never gonna leave you or forsake you. You got that shit fucked up if you believe that shit. Go on, Shadow, yo. What you gotta say about this?
I kind of lost track on what you was talking about. I thought you had like, I thought you were still talking about like the. I forgot. I'm sorry.
No, because I did go off a tangent. Basically, I was just saying like the crazy ass fucking outrage that it seems like, whether you like Xbox or PlayStation, it seems like Sony just can't do anything like right. They show something, and then there's always a complaint. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I mean, listen. Whenever there's new programs, new games and stuff that's going to come out, people are going to, have their own opinions on it. It could be positive and or it could be negative or neutral. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, unfortunately, like, that's how I look at it. I look at it based upon the integrity of, how it's going to go with their company and with their programs, to see how it's going to go in the long run. That's just how I look at it. Now, I don't want to say zealots and stuff like that, because I could care less. But if y'all one of those people that thinks that PlayStation or Xbox can do no wrong, like, I think that's preposterous, because there are certain programs or certain ideas that are just either bad or not ideal for the customer, and it just doesn't necessarily look right or sound right through both consoles, not just PlayStation and not just Xbox. That's just my opinion. So you just gotta outweigh the negatives or outweigh the positives and just look at it on both ends. That's just how I see it.
You really do. But there's like a three-way like system here on social media where you have, because Nintendo and their fans seems to stay the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? Like, everyone look at Nintendo and they're like, "Oh, your game's gonna be $60 and it's a remake," and they just don't care. Why not? Why be more like? Why don't you be more like Nintendo fans? You know what I'm saying? You zealots. Like, you got Xbox that buy the system, and they truthfully could have bought a PC. Like, let's keep that shit a whole stack. You got Xbox Live on that shit. They are literally making an initiative day and date to put their games out on PC. regardless of the quality, they're selling controllers separately that you can use with the PC. They're making sure that the technology doesn't clash with the PC shit, so they're keeping it simple with their controller. They're not trying to go all out on it. Just have the same functionalities. And it's like, but then they can't do anything wrong on their end. And you look at the PlayStation side of things, it's like they feel like there's an entitlement. Like, you can't go any fucking where. I want to be here, and I want you to make the games that I make, and I want you to make the games that I will never buy, just so I can say that it's there. And then you have the PC fucking people that continuously jump in this console fray for God knows what fucking reason. I don't understand. Even if you have all of the fucking pieces of hardware from like every hardware, every console, whatever the case is, I don't see any gameplay from these fucking people. And the only people that's producing gameplay that I can see that can physically do it is usually the fucking PlayStation fanboys. But I can't even say that because the shit that they post online is about graphics or art. Like, you'll see like fucking Aloy flying on a fucking pterodactyl, and they're not doing anything in particular. Oh my god, this game is the best game I've ever seen in my life. Or you got Uncharted and motherfuckers looking at trees.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Or like, I want to see the gameplay. I don't see it. And it's like, even the PlayStation
action instead of people just flying planes and walking simulators.
I'm just saying. Look, at work, I did choose violence this day. I woke up pissed. I was like, you know what?
Yeah, you did.
I was like, man, I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it. And you know what? Blessed.
As soon as I saw the post on Discord, I was like, this man's choosing violence today. I already know. This man.
You want to see some combat. You want to see some interaction. You want to see like how certain mechanics work or whatever. Granted, yes, dialogue is good for any game, but you still want to see, how that dialogue coalesces within its gameplay and its mechanics.
I want to see people enjoying the games that they're enjoying it, but like actually doing it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm playing Horizon or whatever the case is, and I'm sliding around or I'm shooting or, whatever the case is, or if I'm playing The Last of Us, you know what I mean? I get into like, that's what the share button is. I get into a moment where I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And I'm hiding and it's a fierce moment, or I'm playing Guilty Gear and I get my ass whooped. You'll see me occasionally post these things. Or if I'm playing Gran Turismo, I'm posting this shit, and I'm driving fairly fucking well in there. But you get these PlayStation zealots, right? They will buy a game because it looks good, and they can shit on something else. That's all they do in it. These motherfuckers can't drive a fucking lick. But you talk about fucking ray tracing on a fucking mirror. The mirror is reflecting off of the door, and then you don't see them driving ever.
So let me ask you this question, and I'm trying not to be messy or nothing like that. All shade, all fee aside, do you think that people are buying and playing games for clout and trying to get their interactions up on Twitter? Is that what you're saying too?
I would honestly say that that's more on the Xbox side. I would honestly say that. I would say that these people don't play games at all. Like, you have a share button, right? Can you share something for me, please? A little bit? I mean, I know it ain't as robust as the PlayStation, but I'm sure you could share 30 seconds of gameplay. I know you can. Or better yet, you know how you said that it's real complicated to put the SSD inside the PS5, but yet you also have a PC and you have all these different configurations. Why don't you take some of that configuration and learn how to record and then upload it on Twitter so I can see it?
Stop, bro.
I don't think it's complicated to put an SSD inside of a PlayStation. All you got to do is just take off face plates, unscrew a flap, put in the SSD, screw the SSD inside the console, screw the flap back on, put on the face plates, and then turn it on and configure.
You would see, you would think so, but you had GameSpy, you had IGN talk about you need some putty and paste, and you need all these different screws and shit like that, and drivers and all sorts of shit. And apparently, you need a fucking PhD to do it. You know what I mean? That was and that was a laughing. We were a laughing stock for having like a open market SSD. Now you guys have a $400 2 terabyte proprietary SSD that costs more than an Xbox Series S. By the way, that's the one that's selling the most. So let's combine the $400 for the 2 terabytes and then the $300. Man, you got yourself a weak ass computer.
Now, I will say, I'm not trying to defend or anything like that, but I will say though, in the context of those SSDs, you can plug and play or plug, configure, and start installing and stuff or whatever. However, I just don't think that it's even with the sale, because the price for the 1 terabyte SSD went from $229 or $219 to $199. So I'm guessing that's a $20 difference off. And the 2 terabyte is now $359. I still think that that's just way too fucking expensive for an SSD, especially when the SSD storage is a 1 to 2 terabyte. Like, I'm used to like 4 terabytes. So for example, my when we all found out that we can install an external hard drive on our consoles, my external hard drive didn't even cost but $200 for a 4 terabyte. So, I at least would think that they could possibly make the external SSDs to be a little bit more cheaper than that. I'm not saying that I could afford it. I'm just saying that the trade-off is not ideal.
Right. And and it's just funny because everyone was like, "Oh, I could just plug mine in, and that's all I got to do. I don't got to take anything off." But boy, that's a premium price you paying just to plug something in, and you could just an extra step or two, and you can save yourself $200. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Also, I've gotten into it. Right, this is on the tangent about how the Xbox has so many different features, like. What was that again? Quick resume. Oh wait, I'm sorry, they taking that away.
And on Xbox, I never liked it, honestly.
Someone said it was a part of the gaming experience that you can have quick resume, and now they're taking that away for some reason. I kind of wonder why. I don't think it's hurting anyone. I wonder though. You don't have to use it, but they're taking it away. I don't think that it was an expense that drove the prices up in some sort of way, but I digress. The other thing I wanted to say, because I hope you stay in here for the last bit, because that's a whole other fucking thing, but there was another issue that people were outraged about, and that was this rewards program. So
oh god.
I was keeping an eye on this, right? Just to I didn't understand it. So of course IGN is going to come out here. They looking for clicks like crackheads want crack. They say Sony PlayStation Stars loyalty program, they missed I don't know why they putting 2 M's in it, is controversially offering better customer service as a reward. That's their headline.
I've been talking about that subject for 48 hours.
I'm not even going to get into it that deeply.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't need to. See, I put it in here because people say that Microsoft was harming game. They say that this is harming gaming by doing this. That's number one. People say that this was questionable. They said it was anti-consumer. They said it was behind a paywall. The paywall being the actual fucking games that you were going to buy anyway. So the way I understand it, and this is just a rudimentary way of understanding it, the program is free. You just enroll, and whatever you accumulate, if you have a credit card, you know how this works. My job pays for my plane ticket, so I can't utilize the frequent flyer miles. I don't buy my tickets, right? But if I did, those shits would accumulate, and I'll be able to have another flight. Blah blah blah. So what they're saying is that you can buy four full-fledged games, and that will put you in the status of having priority in the queue as a loyal customer. Or
I'm sorry, I think somebody's trying to come up in speed. Not to.
no, you good, you good. Let me take a look here. Thanks for peeping that. How do you guys see it? And I don't.
Somebody messaged me.
Okay. Why not? Why don't they message me? Like the fuck?
We're on one right now.
That too.
This is very true. What's going on, Silky?
What's going on, bro? I just wanted to correct just a couple important notes. For Quick Resume, it's not being taken away. It's just giving an ability for you to disable it because it doesn't work with multiplayer games. So they're going to give you the ability to choose which games you want on Quick Resume. That's it.
Okay. Anything else?
What's up?
Anything else?
Well, that, and then for the PlayStation, the thing for the 4 games is 4 games at full price. Plus, you have to play at a certain amount of, you have to get a certain amount of trophies as well.
Okay.
So just little notes. That's it.
Okay. Oh, who's wants to be in it? Oh gosh. Okay. Let me add some people in there. It's a. Let me see. Come on.
Like I do. I don't even want to.
No, go on, please.
Really am.
I don't know too much about it, because it doesn't affect me because I play games.
Yeah. So you're like you're right. And also Silky's correct as well. It's just I just believe that customer service should have that same haste and speed or priority as it is for all PlayStation customers, not just only for tier 4, especially for newer PlayStation customers or existing PlayStation customers that are not tier 4. The prerequisites of buying 4 games or getting 128 trophies. Well, buying 4 games, that's not a problem. 128 rare trophies, that's subjective, but not really because you're buying games and you're playing them. So it depends on the gamer. But
they made trophies easier too, by the way.
But it has to be rare though. You can still earn trophies, but the trophies have to be rare. Basically earning a trophy that has a lower percentage of the game's player base,
right,
has or has not earned it. Yeah, that.
So let me ask you this though: is it one or the other or both?
Both. They say and.
Okay.
So you have to buy 4 games full price and unlocking 128 rare trophies.
Yeah, so that's $280 if all the games are $70. They do put out some smaller titles for $50 or $60, but most games are $70. So at least $200 plus the 128 rare trophies.
So are you sure it's $50 or $40? I think I got a game a couple of months ago that was $15.
Yeah, but if it's on sale, it doesn't count.
No, it wasn't on sale. I'm very aware of what I bought. It wasn't on sale. There's also indie games that cost below $15 that are at full price and not on sale.
Sorry, games that's $15.
If it's an indie game. See, I don't understand. Let me ask you something, Silky. Do you have a PS5?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I'm curious to figure out why do you know so much about a product that you don't have.
Well, do you have an Xbox Series X?
I'm not talking about the Xbox though.
You were earlier though.
I'm talking about as a whole, but it's like general information. You know what I'm saying? It's like but hold on, you actively like went out and was like looking at a program that you will never be able to go into. Whereas this is just general information. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm looking for it.
Well, no, but there's 2 things, right? So we're both pretty heavy into gaming. So I follow all the gaming news. So if it flies by, I'm gonna read it. Or if I'm online on my computer, I'm gonna read it. And then for 2, I plan on getting a PS5.
But I don't have. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Two things. I'm running a podcast, so I have to kind of know a little bit, and I don't even know that much of the Stars program. And I have a PS5. I actually had all the consoles and got them almost all of them at launch, except for the first one because I was too young.
Yeah, no, I've been doing the same thing. As far as the PS5 trophy thing, like they put it out, it was like their whole bulletin tweet, and it showed exactly what you need to have for it. So it's not that I had to go search out different information.
But you would have to go search out. You would have to go out searching for the information because again, it doesn't. I haven't even applied for the Stars program at all. Maybe I will if I'm bored. Maybe I won't. I'm only interested. The moral of this story is that I'm only interested in what I'm interested in.
Yeah. I'm not throwing shade at you.
No, but it's not about me. It's not about me. I was just kind of curious about like why you even have. Like you seem to be well versed in a product consistently.
Well, to give you an example, right? I'm well versed in vehicles. Usually, I can tell you whatever vehicle, all the way to back to like 2010, based on taillights. And it's not that I own every vehicle in the world. It's just that I'm a car guy. I can tell you what engines they're running, their displacement. I can tell you the wheel size. I can tell you if they're cambered. I can tell you what coilovers they may be running based on how low the vehicle's sitting with the tire size. Like, so it just depends on what you're into. I just retain information really well.
Well, but you don't retain the positive information for the PS5 is what I'm noticing. I don't think you've ever said anything about the PlayStation 5 that was not caveated with something negative. I mean, you could say I like cars too. I like cars too, and I like the car that I like. You know what I'm saying? In terms of technology, I like the technology that I like. If it fits into I usually talk about a lot of things that I like, or I'm using something as a comparison point because of some sort of discourse or some discord on online. I notice a lot of people that have an Xbox seems to constantly be in this particular state of mind where they have to put down the competition and then seemingly don't play any games either. I never see you play any type. I never see you like upload anything on Twitter. But you do upload bad news about the PlayStation 5 or anything about acquisitions though. So I'm just kind of curious as to why you don't put gameplay out there. You do have the feature, right?
So I do put gameplay out there. I actually just posted, if you look at my timeline, I think 10,000 hours of gaming that I've done since like 20.
No. I don't care about the hours. I care about the actual gameplay because they gave you a share. They gave you a share feature. The one that you remember that one feature that people that of the Xbox community said that was like not really a thing, like it was a gimmick, and then they put it on that share button that's on the Xbox. Yeah, they gave you that one. But I don't see you using it though.
I use it. So on Xbox, when you download it, right, when you do that, you have to go into your recent clips, and then from there, upload it to your stream or share from Twitter from there. It's like, I don't record stuff just to post it, but I do have plenty of game clips on my wall. I have plenty of hours that I've played. I have plenty of games that I've played. And if anybody in here feels very confident, feel free to challenge me on one of those games.
So are you stating that it's too much work to post a gameplay clip?
Well, no, I play games for me, not for you.
No. I said, do you feel like it's too much work to post a gameplay clip on Twitter?
No.
Okay, so you're saying that you post things for you?
No.
So you say you do things for yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so why did you create the your profile?
For me, so I've explained this before. I created the profile because I have ideas for games, and I was hoping to be in some of the same rooms that game devs are in to get those ideas out there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the very first things I joined this after I had the conversation with King Thrash. One of the very first things I joined was the room with it was two Division developers in there because I'm a big Division guy and I wanted to get my ideas to them. So I didn't join this console war. I didn't care about sales. I still don't care about sales. I don't care if PlayStation sells 100 million more than Xbox. That doesn't affect me. So it's not a console war thing. Only time I ever speak out is if there's misinformation or wrong information. And for those who don't know, there's a difference. Misinformation is doing it on purpose. Wrong information is if you're not well versed in the subject and you say something that's inaccurate. That's the only time I'll come up and I'll say, hey, it's actually this. And it's not a slight to whoever's talking. It's just to clarify things because other words, you send a bad information to the crowd and those who know lose confidence in the speaker.
I'll hold you to that. I'll keep I'll keep vigilant on there. You're right, Shadow, though. Customer service in general shouldn't be a point of coercing people to buy your service, a loyalty program. I get the sentiment of it, you know what I mean? And a lot of PlayStation zealots will come out there and they will be like, okay, fine. Well, Apple does it, you know, such and such does it, but it does kind of not sit properly. Like, okay, so if they gave you like money or like the equivalent of frequent flyer, you know, miles or something of that nature, I wouldn't have too much of a problem with that. But it's just a curious and strange thing. No matter how easy it is to reward you with customer service. Now, I want to preface this conversation by saying that I've made 2 customer service calls in almost a 10-year period. So it's just funny. Like you mentioned the rewards program, and maybe you're concerned about the rewards program, but I don't know why you would be concerned about it. Because for me, I don't talk about Apple and what they do. I feel like they do a lot of shit that that is anti-consumer in particular. But you don't really hear me talk about it that much. So that's how I look at it. Did you have anything extra you wanted to say, Shadow?
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
What about stupid shit? What about Edward? Do you have anything before we go on to our last topic?
No, I will say this though. When I got my PS5, I got it on launch day, right? And I got it through the PlayStation Direct. And what I found out is that, and I don't know if this rolls into like the All-Star program or not. It kind of matches up. So I noticed like after I got my PlayStation, I still got like hella emails, even from like my wife, getting an email like to get another PlayStation 5, right? And so like I researched it and come to find out, it's like I know I spend a lot of money on the PlayStation Store. I'm not gonna even lie. Like most of my games, even when I went digital, like was all through like the PlayStation Store formats to get my shit, right? And what I come to realize is that the more money that you spend within like PlayStation, right? Because they see like the transactions that you do, it's the reason why they pushed and got people into like, you know, order one directly from PlayStation, right? While everybody else was having a hard time getting one. So like me looking at like with this rewards program, right, which is just a start, and it is customer service, which I truly believe like that customer service should go to everyone, right? But I do understand like most companies nowadays have like a program, right, that far exceeds the traditional customer, right? So if you like, for example, Best Buy has like their rewards program, which allows you to get like certain systems and shit like that. I don't know the name of it.
That is not paid, correct? That is not a paid subscription or a paid service, right?
Is it like their pro program? I don't know. I don't have it. But I'm just saying, like, I know that like these certain outlets now are having like these rewards programs that you either pay for or that is free, that give you benefits that you wouldn't normally get, right? But at a customer service level, right? Because a lot of people can be really upset and need solutions made, right? Like, let's say, for example, if your console gets broken and you wanted to ship that out, and each day of getting it back is like 3 to 4 months, right? Well, if you're guaranteeing you, if you get like, you know, you send your console in and you can get it back within a week because you're a priority, you know, and you pay for that, to do that, I see a benefit in that if you want to do that, right? I'm not going to knock the person who wants to do that. But at the same time, like customer service at a customer service level, depending on if it's a widespread of any issue or any problems that you have, you have to, and it's walled off, and you have to pay for something, like I find that a little bit shitty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see both sides of the spectrum when it comes to, like, customer service should be available, like, excellent customer service should be available to anybody who has their product. That just should be it, right? So,
Yeah.
like, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, like we're not saying that customer service is leaving. Like customer service is here. It's just, you know, for the people that are, you know, in tier 4 is getting priority over, you know, people that are tier 3 or below, and also, you know, new PlayStation customers. And I just want to remind everybody that the next holiday season is technically Thanksgiving. right after Thanksgiving. Like, not even, no, even before that. Like, fuck. Like, these companies still, like, not still, but they are about to prepare for Black Friday deals, like, as early as, like, if you see fucking Amazon Prime, they're doing a Prime Day special in October the 11th and 12th. They may or may not have, you know, PlayStation 5s, you know, available for a Prime member to purchase. I'm not using Prime as an example. I'm just saying, like, you know, the holiday seasons are coming around the corner. They're fast approaching within these next couple of months. So if you were to get a PlayStation 5 that's, you know, not functioning correctly, or if you need further assistance with certain things that's not a part of the fax page, because that's what some of y'all like to do. Y'all about to be like, oh, they can just go online and stuff. What if their problem cannot be helped online and they need further assistance? See what I'm saying? So now this new customer has to wait like 10, 15 extra fucking minutes. And just imagine if the customer was just very patient. Versus a person that's tier 4, they don't have to wait. They can skip the line and they can talk to a customer service representative right then and there. That's just not ideal in my personal opinion. That's just me.
It's not, and you know, maybe they're looking at the store as look at the digital front and customer service as like an actual physical location that you can go into. Maybe, you know what I mean, like you get better service if you go into some of the stores. Like, I'm in customer service myself, and
yeah, I've been in customer service for over 8+ years. So
right, so you know how it is.
How this shit go. I've worked in Black Fridays before. I know how this shit goes. I've done returns before. I know how this shit goes. So,
but there's a lot of customers that I speak to. You don't do anything for your loyalty customers. You don't give us nothing. You give them the red carpet treatment. So now this is a service that they do give you shit. I don't know how to, honestly, because I didn't do too much information on it, because I really don't care that deeply. It's just an outrage about, like, if you are a gamer, then it shouldn't matter. Is the customer service worse or is it the same? You know, in that case, like for me, a lot of customers have to go through a lot of layers to get to somebody that's in the United States. You know what I mean? So that's another issue too. Do you get somebody directly in the United States, or you get like some sort of outsourced help unless you are in the rewards program? You know, because we get this too. I mean, how do you like this sound? Hello, welcome to Sony. This is Josh. How are you doing today? Or, hi, my name is Kim, and I need you to speak English. I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So maybe it's.
Oh, go ahead.
So maybe it's like that. I don't know. It's something that's interesting. I don't know. What were you gonna say?
And I was just gonna say, like, let the record show, like, if Xbox and Nintendo were to do the same thing or similar or whatever, yes, I would have that fucking same energy too when it comes to customer service, because I feel like any and all, you know, PlayStation players or gamers or whatever, new and existing, should get that same level of speed and haste for all customers. So that's all I'm saying.
I feel like they need to remove. I'm gonna let you go right in a second. I feel like honestly they need to remove that and do something else. But go on, Brian.
I just wanted to comment on what Shadow was saying, because I know Shadow's a full gamer. He plays on everything, so this isn't a shot at Shadow or anything like that. I've called Sony before, and let's all keep it real for a moment. Their customer service sucks. Nobody wants to be on the phone with Sony. Let's just be real for a minute. And
see, that's really funny that you said that, because like when I called Sony customer service, they were pretty cool and nice to me.
Okay, not a problem. I never said they didn't do their jobs. I just said the customer service sucks. I've called Sony quite a few times. I haven't called them in the PS5 generation, but I have called quite a few times in the PS4 generation. So if they've gotten better since PS5, not a problem.
Yeah, they were trash in PS4. They were trash. I had a situation where they said if you buy $100 worth of stuff, that they'll give you $50, right? So I'm like halfway through the generation of PS4, right? This is back in like 2017. So I'm like waiting in my email, waiting in my email. I don't see shit. I looked at my spam, nothing. I'm like, I bought PlayStation Plus in the game. Where the fuck is my $50? Turns out, right? They delivered it to as a message on PS3.
Oh, well, like I said, I've never called during the PS3 era. And
So I'm just agreeing with you. I'm just agreeing with you. It does suck. And then when I call customer service and I'm like, hey, like I haven't used my PS3 for like 5 years. Oh well. I had to call back again twice to get that money to be sent over to the PS4. So yeah.
But with the program Frost, I understand the Shadow. It's sort of like a 2-lane, like like okay, so no, like for example, let's just say I got 10 items or less, and you got a full grocery cart. When I call, I'll probably jump into a special lane. Because we're not going to get the same service, regardless if I get it 10 minutes before you. It makes no difference. And more likely, if anybody's having a problem with a new console that they purchased, they'll probably just take it back to the store and then exchange it there. So, I mean, so I think that argument
if they buy it physically.
Yeah, if they buy it physically, they'll probably just take it back to the store.
I'm looking at it through all avenues, so...
Okay, not a problem. And I do agree with the first dude, because I bought in 3 PS5s from Sony direct. Well, no, I'm lying. I bought 2 from Sony direct and 1 from Best Buy. And obviously they're both out of warranty. So me calling Sony right now to say, hey man, my PS5 is broken, and once they run it, they're gonna know it's way out of warranty at this point. And so I have the option to either just go in the back room and get another PS5 out the box, or send it back in and pay $350 to get it fixed for whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I don't think that this is a big outrage that most people. The point is, I don't think this is an outrage. I think it's stupid to add this in a tier service. And if you did add this, this is probably one of those quiet part of the conversations I would just keep quiet about. I wouldn't need to publicize this and be like, hey, you're a tier 4 user. You get special service.
Yeah, like they really should. They honestly, and I like that. Like, this is something that you don't publicize because it looks bad.
I think the word is, and let's also be real about Sony. Their messaging, regardless of how you feel about them, I like both platforms. Sony's my preferred platform. But let's just be real. That messaging has been really bad for the PS5 generation. And nobody can say, oh yeah, man, Sony's messaging was spot on this generation. No, it hasn't. It's been all over the place.
Right.
Has it been enough to shift me to Xbox? Absolutely not.
You know what it is? They don't have the fucking. I'm gonna let you go, Meek, in a second. They don't have how can I put it? They don't have the corporate talk. They kind of just telling you how it is, and it doesn't sound good. You know what I mean?
And Barry also putting out one thing. This is a new program. It started in Japan. I'm pretty sure by the time they roll it to the U.S., it'll be modified and it'll be changed a bit, just so the wording can be better. And that was Barry's point. And I think we should at least give them that to see where it goes. Right now,
low key.
A lot of these new services are new to them, so there are going to be stumbling blocks along the way. Trust me, when Game Pass came out, I had Game Pass on opening night. I had Sea of Thieves on opening night. It was not perfect, but Game Pass also had, and I'm not going to make this a Microsoft versus Sony or Game Pass versus Premium thing, but services do stumble, and they're stumbling along the way. And they'll get better as time go on and stuff like that. I just think that we can't expect them to knock out the park as soon as they drop it.
I mean, there's a human element in there, but low key, I think that with these services, I think it's going on behind the scenes, and as you adequately put, they just don't say it. I don't know why Sony said it, because this shit looks it look hella bad. But I think the other services that have stuff like this, they don't tell you about it. Meek, go on, man.
And I had one more thing to add, but thank you for cutting me off.
I'm trying to roll this shit through, man.
As long as I've called Sony the PS4 generation, I spoke to one American. And when I was in the PS4 generation, because I used to game share and all that other shit, there's
Exactly.
been only one time I got to spoke to an American. I was even shocked. I said, they got Americans that work there? He was like, yeah, there are a few of us that work here. Not many. So I just wanted to make that clear. So.
Because you usually get the, hello, I'm calling, what is your name, please?
That sounds pretty racist coming from
That's
you.
not racist. That ain't racist. Listen, I don't give a fuck. I don't, Brian, I don't care. Sounding like some other race, because we could do it to a white person. I'm just saying, for anybody that hears this shit, we could sound like a white person, nobody have a problem with it. Hi, my name is Todd, and no one says anything. But when I go, hello, my name is Odin, but no one, people have a problem. All right, go on, Meek.
I don't have a problem, Josh. I'm joking.
All right. Go on, Meek. Yo, Meek, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
How y'all doing tonight, man? Y'all good?
I'm sweating bullets right now.
I'm trying to get drunk as fuck.
I actually have a little bit left. But go on, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna keep it pretty quick and concise. So I've been gaming for a long time, and whenever I got a new console, I wasn't necessarily ever reaching out to customer service, for one. Two, the bump, the gift that you're getting or whatever, the perk, is specific to the chat. So when I'm calling, it's still getting the same wait time and everything. And not only that, I just think this is just something else to complain about, because when there's no movies, the first thing that happens, people tend to jump on. But we all understand that we live in a life where you pay for luxury, you pay for different amenities throughout your life. And, you know, like with gas stations, if I keep going to this gas station, I get reward points, and eventually, I keep going there, eventually they'll give me $10 gift card. You see what I'm saying? It's because I've been coming back. So I don't necessarily see it as like anti-consumer, because in all reality, you just got to do what you were doing anyway. All they're saying is keep playing the games and get the trophies. You just got about 4 games throughout 12 months. I don't think that's a lot to ask for. And then if you're playing these games, which you're purchasing, getting 128 or whatever trophies, it shouldn't be a problem. So I just think a lot of people are just like virtue signaling and just like, oh, you know, what about this? There's always a what about. Like, you can always throw a what about when it comes to situations, you know what I mean? But no, really, it's not that serious. Like we all understand this, because I'm saying the fastest or the greatest anyway. So I'm not feeling to get shit service first. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? And get what I need done, and that's it. But when I call these customer service, even that I know they're all outsourced, I go in knowing I'm going to be on this phone for like an hour. I already take that shit out, and I just put that shit on speaker, walk away, and let it play his music. You know?
Yo, I be cleaning my fucking house, yo. I be in the bathroom cleaning that shit. With some, what? I was gonna say this. You sound a little muffled. I apologize for that. I'm just, you know, kind of. One thing you did bring up that's very interesting, is that you're gonna earn the trophies. I don't think people remember this, but Sony has been making their trophies easier. So there's the rare that is rare, but how rare is it when they're making the trophies easy? Let me ask Thrash, what's going on, bro? Yo, Thrash.
What up, my bad. I had to unlock my phone. You know how that shit be tripping. What's good, John? Y'all doing this afternoon, evening, night, wherever you live at?
Good evening.
Apparently, there's a lot of Xbox in this space. I don't know. I don't recognize a lot of them, but
nothing wrong with that. I mean, they need to listen to somebody. I mean, they're probably trying to hear everybody arguing about some bullshit in their life and giving life stories and shit all 100% of the time, and you want everything. I went into an Xbox One, and I'm not saying that all Xbox dudes act like this, but they was arguing about how to plant corn, my nigga. I'm like, planting corn, dog. Like the garden. Who got a garden of corn, dog? It's a garden, so I guess like 6 stocks. Like I don't know, dog.
Oh, stop. I didn't go about what I hear. I'm going straight out of that. But just it is what it is. But as far as this what is it? The PlayStation Stars or whatever it's called.
Stars.
Yeah, Stars. I seen people talking on it. And the main talking one of the main talking points is the customer service thing, right? And I'm like, look, bro, if you need to call customer service and you play PlayStation, you're gonna probably be already moved in front of the goddamn line. And what if it's 4 games and some trophies? It's like you're gonna automatically do that. If you play PlayStation predominantly, you're gonna be doing that shit in the first 2 months or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's weird. It is weird, but it's just as weird as Xbox ambassadors taking the job of the customer service of Microsoft and actually talking to you and solving your problems for you. You know what I'm saying? But nobody says anything about that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? We're an Xbox ambassador. When I was an Xbox ambassador, they was offering me to help them for free.
It's all about the work. It's
free gear, some free swag or stuff.
Yeah. They give you a beanie. You know what I'm saying? Or a month of fucking Game Pass. You know,
it's all about the work. It's all about the wording, though. That's the thing.
Salaries and shit.
It's all about the wording. That's the kicker because
it's the wording, but it just like
it is weird.
Like if somebody gave a fuck and we'll be caring about Microsoft hiring gamers to do their customer service and firing the people that they actually had. There would have been a big thing about that all for Xbox ambassador bullshit. You're an ambassador because so you want to work for Microsoft for no money? Like, I just don't understand. I mean, to me, that's not a big deal because if you want to do that as a gamer, then hey, do that. If you want to feel like you're part of the system and you want to work for Microsoft but not work for Microsoft, then you can do the ambassador shit, and I don't have a problem with that. But I mean, to complain about getting a cut in the line or whatever that is for the PlayStation Stars shit, I think that's just as stupid to complain about. Because it is what it is. Like, I'm not calling them niggas every day. In fact, I think I only called them niggas twice since I've been playing PlayStation. I've been fortunate enough to take care of my shit, or my shit me not getting a bad console. I mean, I call Microsoft before more than I call PlayStation.
I remember with Thrash. I remember when my friend wanted me to see. No one talks. This is what I mean by the fake outrage. I'm glad you brought this up because now you got me into this particular mode, right? Back in 2012 or 13, my friend was dying for me to play Gears of War 3, right? And he wanted me to do the whole split screen situation. So they had like a little tiny stipulation, right? That I don't see people they were talking about. You had to have an account per screen for split screen. Obviously, I didn't have an Xbox, right? I didn't have an Xbox, right? So I had to create a profile, and you couldn't just at the time create a profile if you wanted to have like that free serve, like to get it for like whatever how many days for free. You had to put in the credit card information. So that's what I did. I said, I heard about Netflix. You can just delete that shit and keep moving. So I played little games. I said it was a pretty decent game, right? Whatever. Not enough for me to buy a whole console for, and it was at the end of the generation anyway. So I go, okay, I play a little bit. And then maybe about 4 days later, I decided to call them. I'm like, okay, let me just take my stuff on there. They refused to they wouldn't take my fucking card off the fucking profile. Can we just ask you why you want to take it off? Bitch, I don't have a fucking Xbox. That's why. Well, would you like buy one? Like, what can we do? I don't want you to do a fucking thing, but take my fucking card off. That's all I want you to do. And they didn't do it at all. And this, I believe, this has been known, but people didn't say too much about this shit.
What? What about that when your Game Pass, when you like let your Game Pass lapse and you leave it, and they leave like this red thing making it look like you owe them money to continue it, even though you really don't, but it makes it look like a whole ass bill, like it's like it says like it's overdue or something like that. Like, have you ever seen that? Well,
no, I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about because I work in the customer service. That red let you know like you're past due. or some shit like that.
Past due on a subscription service. It's impossible for you to be past due on a subscription
They
service
looking like
because you pay monthly and you pay the first month. So if you don't pay that month, it's not like a phone bill where they give you an extra month or some shit. No, they cut your shit the fuck off, but they leave you something like you're past due when you're done.
like they call it like a nasty, almost like a nasty gram. You know what I mean?
It's not something to complain about though. It's just funny. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it's like people are just searching for reasons to complain.
And bottom line, I'm glad you're here too, because I'm gonna go into the second topic that was actually inspired by Blessed. Shout out to Blessed that's in the chat. My PC friend. This is the one that I actually want to speak on about like the whole outrage thing. And all these companies have fucked up policies, every one of them. That's why I say that don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. Just because you like something from that company, like, the same thing even with politics and shit like that. I won't talk about politics explicitly though, but I will say this, right? Me and my sister got into it because of some sort of political discussion, and it wasn't really political. It was just some kind of thing that was kind of questionable. And she blew up. Now, her thing is she takes a side and she sticks with it. Regardless of what it looks like, she don't give a fuck. They could be doing all sorts of nefarious shit, yo. She's like, oh well, I don't want to talk about it. And the same thing kind of spills over to the consoles. Like, I was talking to Silky earlier, and I mentioned to him, he says, like, okay, let me make a correction for you. It does this, and this. And I'm like, all right, so do you have a PlayStation? He didn't have a PlayStation. He says that he's an enthusiast for gaming. But I'm like, if you're an enthusiast for gaming, let me just kind of put it out there. If you're an enthusiast, you should have a PlayStation. I got to give it to Bless. I believe he has a PlayStation as well. So he has it. So he could pop his shit regardless. I may not agree with everything, but he could pop his shit. But it was just kind of strange to me to really be talking about some other shit. So I'm going to go into the last topic here, and this is why I want Thrash to be in this bitch specifically, right? I keep seeing this over and over. This is the last topic too. I keep seeing this shit over and over and over again about this PC build that's supposed to be like it's supposed to rival the PlayStation 5 and or Xbox Series X. That's what I'm very curious about. And if you know anything about technology, you already know that you can have a specification for a piece of hardware. Even if it was 1-to-1, you got software engineers that don't have to think about different configurations, so they can maximize everything without worrying about working on the weakest link and just scaling up that way. You can do a lot of cool little tricks based off of the architecture of the hardware that you're working on. So like the specs don't matter, but I always want to know like why does what is this? So Thrash, my question is this, right? For a lot of these PC people, you keep bumping into them as well. In Horizon, Aloy says this phrase. She says confidence is quiet. And if somebody's confident about their hardware, if the PC master race, right, the people that play PC, if you're confident about your hardware, why are you talking so fucking much?
That's all they got, man.
Even for the ponies, right? Even for the PlayStation zealots, you know that you got mad shit. Why are you talking?
Big facts.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't need to be talked about. I mean, a lot of shit should be obvious. You know, people be talking to me. How come you don't talk about PlayStations and how great their game is? Obvious.
I'm playing it. That's why I'm not talking about it because I'm playing it.
I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it. I don't have nothing to complain about. My nigga, like if it is what it is, well, how come you're not positive? Because I'm playing the game. That's my positivity. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about selling these games. I don't give a fuck about selling these consoles. That's not what I do. What I do is I talk about my fucking grievances. And Microsoft has a lot of grievances. PCs have grievances. And when PlayStation has their grievances, we make sure to talk for hours about those grievances. Period. And, I mean, I don't know what's going on with this generation of people, but everybody wants to be positive to the salesman. When the sale, there should be no such thing as being positive to the sale. For what? They're selling you a product. Is that product good? Yes. Well, let me see if it's good. If that product is trash, you don't say, let me be positive about this fucking product that I just spent this money on, even though it's fucking trash. I'm not going to play. That just don't make sense to me. So, I mean, it's not a shit being talked with these PC dudes, and they want to talk about their specs and do it. Like you said, it's a level of immaturity. You don't even need to be in this conversation. Nintendo has the lowest specs of all. These niggas are quiet. They
quiet, yo. They quiet as a motherfucker. And guess what? Them cells are reflecting. Those cells reflect.
Mm-hmm.
They got the weakest. They got the weakest hardware. Like I'll say this, Brad. You liked one of my posts, right? About not Shadow of the Colossus. The Last Guardian, right? Here's all these PlayStation zealots talking about I couldn't play the game because the game it had so many performance issues and it ran at 25 frames a second. I just couldn't get into it. Nintendo was playing Breath of the Wild. That bitch, when you go into the fucking forest area, was running at like 15 fucking frames per second, yo. Not a peep.
Big facts. Not a peep. Because they were too busy enjoying the game. It's people like when Digital Foundry first got big and people started really caring, like when Call of Duty was 900p on Xbox and 1080p on PlayStation back in the beginning of last generation. That's when gamers started losing their way. Because, I mean, yeah, all that shit is good, right? It is a good thing.
It's good to know.
But you don't play the greatest games at the highest rate. Like, God of War came out, and it was the best game of the generation, right? Like, whether you like it or not, that motherfucker was the game that everybody talked about. You got people who don't even play video games talking about some boy and Kratos talking about the game and how it's, how crazy it is. But that game was 30 frames per second. It wasn't even 60 frames. And if you wanted to play at a higher resolution, which was never stable, it was at 1080p.
Some of the best games that you played, like, okay, for instance, if anyone knows me, they know that I actually like Shadow of the Colossus. I played that shit in 2005. And the fucking frame rate was like 10 or 15 frames a second, a good amount of the time. And I ended up beating that game on the PS2 like 5 fucking times. What do you call it? 007 on N64 had a frame rate of 8 sometimes. It's not about knowledge is power. We didn't give a fuck. That's just the bottom line of it. Ocarina of Time didn't have a good frame rate either. To be honest with you, it didn't have a great frame rate back in the N64 days.
Elden Ring didn't have a great frame rate.
But that's the funny thing about it. I mentioned this shit earlier, right? About the Outrage. I'm gonna go back to the Outrage really quickly, right? People are pissed off about Sackboy going to the PC, right? I guarantee you these motherfuckers don't have Sackboy, but you're making the most noise, right? And then you care about PlayStation IPs, right? You care about that so fucking much, and you saying that I don't want them to put it on PC because that means the integrity, blah 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 blah, right? But you didn't buy Bloodborne though. But you bought Elden Ring, which was a multi-platform game. You bought that. That you can get on PC and anything. So what did you fucking care? You don't even buy the games that's exclusive anyway. What the fuck did you care?
Yeah, niggas want to buy a Sackboy. I mean, I already said this shit long ago too. Like, why the fuck? Like, at the end of the day, Sony is going to bring as many games as they want to PC. None of you niggas stop buying PS5s. None of you niggas stop buying PlayStation games. So of course they're looking at it like, okay, this shit didn't affect nothing, so we're gonna keep on making this extra money off the PC side. Period. You know what I'm saying? And people just want to have an outrage about this shit. And I'm like, bro, they've been putting games on PC since the PS3 days. People don't know, Sony got like 7 cell phone developers. They got like just straight up only make cell phone games. They got a developer that makes games for fucking Nintendo Switch. And don't nobody say shit. And it's like, bro, like, I understand that niggas want these exclusives to be exclusive for life. But nigga, if you already played it and beat it, you can always go back to it. And they give you a reason to buy a PS5 if you want the shit day and date. That's when the shit is the hottest to begin with. But to worry about it going to PC is not a console. PC is a fucking hub. It's a fucking store where you put your products in. It's not a competition, you know what I'm saying, with them. The PC is just exactly what that is, a personal computer that either people build or they buy. But it's not, it's not in competition. You don't see a PC next to a fucking PlayStation, next to an Xbox, next to a Nintendo. Those three systems are sitting next to each other. They don't have fucking PC power sitting next to some shit in full competition. No. Because PCs are used, it's an open platform, it's used for a multitude of things, and you can buy a fucking PlayStation on a PC. You can't buy an Xbox on a PlayStation. They're not fucking in competition. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying PC gamers don't exist. And a lot of these niggas got mad. I'm like, I'm not saying that you don't exist as a gamer, but you are a Steam gamer, or you are an Epic gamer, or you are a multi-app gamer. Because PC is nothing more than a box that does a numerous amount of things. PlayStations, Xbox, Nintendos are the things that are focused on gaming. You know what I'm saying? That is the main focus. PC has no main focus. In fact, people use PC for more things than a gaming. Gaming is the rare part of what PCs are used for. You know what I'm saying? So
you want to know something? PCs do have exclusives.
No, I'm not saying they don't.
No, but just to come, but hear me out. Hear me out. I'm gonna remix this shit. They do have exclusives. So there's PC fanboys, Xbox fanboys, PlayStation fanboys, Nintendo fanboys, right? Yeah, I don't know if there's any cell phone fan. I don't think people care about that. But for PC, right, their exclusives are GPUs. Yo, I mean, like they got that shit exclusive. You know what I mean? Like they got the exclusive GPUs. That's what they play.
You're right. No, you're 100% right on that. To be honest, you're all right on that because then they buy these parts. That's PC gaming, real PC Master Race dudes buy their parts, and that's the fun of it. Putting that shit together, and then they use games to test the parts that they bought. They don't use games to really play. You know, they got a certain amount of games where they play CS:GO or whatever the fuck. But the main reason why they have a PC is they put that shit together, and then they have the games test the
benchmarks. The game's benchmarks. That's what they do. Now here's the thing. It became convoluted when Xbox released Game Pass because there are Xbox fanboys, as you specified before, and what most people will see. Xbox fanboys that saw the sinking ship and jumped on a PC and used the PC as an extension for their console. Someone spoke to me about this. They said that it's always the PlayStation fans that complains about PC being more powerful. How come I don't see it on the Xbox? Well, that's the reason why. Xbox claims the PC. They claim it as if it's their own because of Windows.
Because of Windows. That's the dumbest shit ever, bro.
That's why you don't see them. That's why you don't see them.
I have a video of Satya Nadella talking about that.
You saw Frost, right? She said she only. You remember Frost, right? She don't even have a fucking Xbox Series. She said that the fucking computer was. It was Game Pass, really.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a Game Pass. That's why Microsoft changed that name to PC Game Pass. They want to be real clear that Xbox has nothing to do with this Game Pass. This is PC Game Pass. They want to be real clear about that. But it's just like these PC dudes, like the Pratangas and the Alexes who make satire videos, you know, make these videos battling and all whatever the fuck they want to do, right? Fun times. But those guys hate Xbox. You know what I'm saying? But they talk about PlayStation fanboys mainly
all the time. And you know what? I want to specify this because I mean, Bless, if you want to jump in there and talk, because I see that you're in here fine. Look, it's just that.
Talk too much.
No. I'm talking about Bless because he was in here earlier and then he jumped out or whatever because we were talking about the outrage. I want to make a couple of things clear. In terms of the hard, I think that a lot of people that have PC or PC Master Race, and unfortunately there's a lot of PlayStation zealots that gives the rest of the people that like the PlayStation a bad name. Majority of us completely understand that the PC is always will be powerful, more powerful than any console. We already know this. One thing that a lot of people that are just getting into PC are failing to understand is that the PlayStation and Xbox are less so Xbox are custom hardware. It has to be custom. It's not custom to try to beat the PC. It's custom to try to save money. So they have to get inventive on how to make the most bang for your buck and keep it lasting for the programmers. There are a lot of things that are in the PlayStation 5 due to the budget that they have to make this console. They took out a lot of shit. So there's a lot of shit that's not in there, and they just kept the rest of the other shit. Those specs for the PlayStation are not one to one or close to the equivalent. They work differently. It's apples to oranges. They have cache scrubbers that's in there that stops bottlenecks from the system clogging up the fucking bandwidth looking for other pieces of information. They have processors that are not using the CPU at all, which the PC will use the CPU to decompress shit. They don't need to. So the CPU is free to do whatever the fuck it wants to do CPU things, while the other custom silicon that's in there does the decompression or whatever the case is. They decided instead of making so many cores, we're just going to make exclusive cores that are kind of stripped from extra information or extra transistors and just have it focus on decompressing things. Not only that, you also have the it's being overclocked, and the entire system is overclocked. So like not only is the clock speed overclocked, but everything else, the memory and everything that goes along with it is overclocked as well. It just is not a one-to-one thing. And even with all of those things in place, it's still not one-to-one. And again, the stuff that you posted on your Twitter, which you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, and it's not about me taking offense to it. The problem with the PS5 or the examples that you're giving, they're 1080p and 1440p systems or computers. And the PS5 is trying to do 4K. 4K30, but it's trying to do 4K and have different configurations. You also have another issue with PC people underestimating how much a console person cares about ray tracing or about shadows or whatever the case is. What they see is art style. What you guys see, because you're not typically used to having big ass budgets on that platform, you see specs. So when somebody said that God of War is the best looking game out there, they're not talking about like specifications. They're exclusively talking about it looks good to my fucking retinas. Like, I don't understand, and I don't know if it's a maturity level thing going on where you are trolling people. Maybe you're trying to troll people just for the fuck of it. Okay, that's fine. Or maybe you're misinformed. But the majority of the PlayStation people that like PlayStation really don't give a fuck about the specs. It's just misinformation when you say that you can build a $650 computer to rival with the stuff that they have, when they have custom hardware that doesn't quite function like a fucking general CPU and a general GPU.
Right. Like, does it have the same throughput? Does it have the same SSD speeds? Like, what does it have? And what are you playing with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could spend $500, wait, how much are they saying this PC costs?
So this is what he's saying there. So I don't think he decided to jump in there. Maybe he's exhausted from the conversation, but he's talking about this. Oh, Twitter, what the fuck are you doing? So he puts out, this is what I mean by there's an immaturity level. So he puts out, I'll answer your question in a second. And it's $650. That's the PC that he was talking about. He says, did you say that the consoles are entirely overclocked? No, I said that the PS5 CPU and GPU are using existing hardware and overclocking it and using that fucking AMD shift shit as well. So it is overclocked. Mark Sony said that it was overclocked. He literally said it. Then he goes along and he says that I'm speaking in an echo chamber and it's good entertainment, right? And he says if I go in there, it's going to be the same outcome. Thrash or you say some kind of backlash, PC benchmark, whatever the case is. The Thrash say niggas don't play games on PC. We only benchmark on the last 3 years. I've beaten over 150 games. Or am I an anomaly? It could be. We're not talking about everybody. We're talking about the general. I don't know. Like
That shit, man.
you're taking it. You're taking it.
Right there. Like,
You're taking it personal.
You and your game library. Like, you don't need to prove that to me.
Yeah, we're talking about in general. It's you, blessed, that it's aligning yourself with PC Master Race. But yet you don't have PC Master Race specs. Like you have a GPU or a PC that does 1440p.
Oh, shit.
Or better yet, you have a 1440p monitor and refuse to get a 4K one. I don't know your specifications, but if I had a powerful fucking monster GPU and CPU, you better believe I ain't getting no 1440p fucking monitor. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Doesn't make any sense. Whether you talk about down sampling or not, man, that don't make no fucking sense. I want to see all 1440p. I can tell the difference between 1440p and 4K easily. Even if it's a 32-inch monitor, I can still tell the fucking difference. I would never want to have 1440p and have all that fucking power behind it. He says, and now you're talking about specific resolutions on PC. We don't simply see a GPU and judge it off of one resolution. And this is the argument. The argument is, I think this is blessed. The argument that it is that we don't care about the specifications. Go on, Bless. Go on. You got the floor.
Holy shit. The amount of things y'all just said that makes no sense. Holy shit.
Oh, correct us then. Correct us.
I guess let's start from the beginning, I guess. So you were saying that the CPU for the PS5 is overclocked. Or it overclocks, the entire system overclocks. No. It can vary its clocks. It can vary its clocks.
The information, but hold on, wait, let me stop you. Let me hold on. Let me just hold on, wait. Let me just stop you really quickly. All right, hold on. Let me just be. So, Mark Sony said it was overclocked, not me. Mark Sony did. I didn't say it. He made the fucking. He helped AMD make this fucking system. Don't tell me. Go buy your rewards program, right? And get in front line and then ask for Mark Cerny.
This nigga's stupid. No, yeah, I think he did say that. He said that it was overclocked, and that's why he was talking about how they had a cooling system to make sure it doesn't overheat like the PS4 did.
And he mentioned that example about the fucking bridge, about the water. When you raise one thing, all of the things raise. He said that. Don't talk to me about it. You can unmute yourself. I just wanted to catch that. I just wanted to say that much.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay. No, what I was gonna say in retort to that is, then Jim Ryan said, we believe in generation.
No, don't move the goalposts. Don't move the goalposts. He's not a PR guy. He literally said because you're not staying on top. You're not staying on topic.
This is exactly. I'm trying to make a point. You're not even allowing me to finish my sentence.
Okay, so I won't say. You're right. You won't say nothing. I won't say anything. I won't say anything. Just make your shit quick, though, please.
Jesus Christ.
Just make your shit quick, though.
What I was gonna say is you can't believe everything that comes out of these corporations' mouth. NVIDIA was literally just lying like a week ago, talking about these new 40 series GPUs. Like literally just lying in the stage. 2 to 4 times more performance when we know it's not going to be that. Like literally, these companies lie, bro. That's what.
Wait, hold on, Flash. Let him get it all out.
I'm gonna cut him up. I was just gonna inform him that when Mark Cerny said what he said, it wasn't for us. It wasn't for GDC. It was for actual developers. So I don't know why they would lie to developers about what they're doing with the console that they're going to make games for. My bad, but go ahead.
Okay, but basically it's off of the Zen 2 architecture, which is very, very well known. 3700X is a CPU, a mainstream CPU, or you can base it on the 4700U, which is also the mobile part, which is essentially closer to the actually what's in the PS5, the 4700U, which is essentially 3700X, which with less cache and slightly less clock speed. That's literally what a PS5 is, but it's even more significantly lower. Because the clock speed within the PS5 is, 3.5, 3.7 gigahertz? The 4700U and the 3700X are both over 4 point, they clock to 4.4, 4.5? So, literally, it's when I literally tweeted that, it's literally an underclocked 3700X with less cache. That is what it is. They may have added, like you said, scrubbers or whatever the case may be, but the raw performance is not better than the next generation of Zen 3 processor, which is the 5600, which I showcased. I actually have a picture that shows a 5600 is at around 20% faster than a 3700X, and that is a regular 3700X. That's not accounting for the PS5 version, which has a gigahertz less, 1 gigahertz less in terms of clock speed. So I'm just saying.
What was the if I may ask, what was the thing that you did? Like, what's the comparison that you actually did? Are you the one who did the comparison, or
I think it was Digital Foundry and some other PC centric places. They estimated.
Essentially, all I did was I watched a video. I follow Tech Deals. I've been following him for like a year and a half now. He provides good information. Not everything. I don't follow everything he says about the Bible because like some things he says I don't entirely agree with. But like I just watched his $650 build video. It had nothing to do with PS5. But I was looking at those specs and seeing how it performs. I was like, oh, this is somewhat equivalent to a PS5 or a Series X. And people keep, and it's literally hilarious because I literally named both consoles, but the only people that felt triggered by my tweet was literally PS5 people. Literally all the fanboys. They were like, oh, why are you saying the PS5, this PS5, the SSD, yada yada, like literally. Not one of them was a person that commented about the Series X. Not one. Well, it's like, you guys felt so offended. It's so funny. It's
I don't know why you're saying you guys, dog. I didn't even know this shit happened. But I will say, what do you mean somewhat? When you say somewhat, why is it somewhat and not exactly? But what's the somewhat? Why do you say somewhat? Like, so what difference did you see for you to say it's somewhat like a PS5?
Somewhat like a PS5 and Series X.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just asking you, like, because the PS5 and the Series X aren't somewhat alike. Like, they have a lot of differences about, how the way they built both of those consoles. So I can't see how you even match those two consoles up when they are two different consoles built in two different ways.
I'm not talking specifically about if they were built in terms of different architectures. I'm talking about raw performance of games that have native PS5 and Xbox Series X ports. That's literally it. Just the native performance. And Digital Foundry and other tech media sites like Gamers Nexus, they have ran the numbers on these games. And Digital Foundry more than anyone has ran the numbers. And they have found that a PS5 Series X's performance is around the range, is within the range of between on the Nvidia side, a 2060 and a 2080.
What games were used?
Or bro, Digital Foundry.
We're just asking what games.
I didn't ask the same question, but what games were used?
Let's see. F1 2021, F1 2022.
So they didn't use
Gear 5. I mean, literally. Digital Foundry. Oh, Jesus. Let me talk. Digital Foundry have been doing tests and comparisons with the PC for years now.
That's cool. I'm just saying that setup that you're talking about isn't playing the games that the PS5 and the Series X was made to play. You're talking about it's good in comparison to PS4 games that are backwards compatible to the PS5, but those games aren't the specs of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, right?
You said backwards compatible. No, that is not the case. I said they are PS5 native ports. Native ports. They're not backward compatible.
So
they're not the PS4 version. They're not the PS4 like.
yo, bless, relax. Let me say this, right? Because again,
Jesus.
when I was in high school, and a little bit after high school, I did programming. Right? So you can be a terrible programmer and make any hardware look like ass, right? So what's happening is that they are still using the code is being translated from what is it, GCN to RDNA too, right? So that's what's happening with that one. All it's doing is that code is sitting in a RDNA2 container, but it's not utilizing things. That's another thing that Mark Sony said. You probably should go back and see it. Mark Sony said that you can. Hold on, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish.
That's a lie.
Mark
I
Sony.
think your whole comparison is flawed.
But it's not his comparison. It's not his comparison. It's their comparison, right? And it's always been flawed, and they've been proven wrong a couple of different times. Because all they're seeing is the hardware. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Each other. Sometimes they approve each other wrong. One person will say this, another person will say that, and they will collaborate and say, "Oh, my bad," or whatever. They can do it on their own. They're not. Bless. Let me finish my statement. I'll let you talk. Let me finish. The situation is, right, when it comes to the PlayStation, like what Mark Sony said, he said that you don't need to use the PlayStation 5 stuff like the geometry engine. He literally said it on there. You don't need to use the geometry engine, which is going to help in the future. It's going to help a lot in the future in terms of how the games are made. The paradigm is completely different from the last generation. He said that you don't need to use the ray tracing components in there, which can run simultaneously with regular restoration. You could just have a PS4 game and he specified PS4 and not PS5. The thing is, right, I was playing recently The Last Guardian. Now, The Last Guardian is meant to run on a 1.84 teraflop console. That's what it's meant to play. And whatever extra headroom that you allow it to, it'll do that. Now, the PS5 can't run The Last Guardian with better frame rates because of the coding. It's not taking advantage of anything that's in the PS5. So it's going to run like shit like it did in the other consoles, despite the fact that now you're going to say, oh, what about native stuff? There's native code where you can optimize that as well, where it's in that particular container. But my point is, for that example, is that it's all about the coding and how you use the hardware. Just throwing anything at a piece of hardware don't mean anything.
The same thing applies for PC ports, but the point of my tweet was just native raw performance, head to head, a tweet, like literally that's literally the tweet. It's relative performance.
But it's apples and oranges.
Relative equivalent. I put an asterisk right next to it, the word equivalent, because I ran out of characters. I can't type more.
They're apples and they're apples and oranges though. They're apples and oranges. You're literally like even if you are taking what they're saying at face value, you're brushing over any type of custom hardware that they have. And so is Digital Foundry, and so is Gamer Nexus or whatever his name is. They're not looking at any because they don't know it. They don't have these patents and stuff like that. They don't know. All they know is that this game, if I tune it right, based off of the little specifications that we do know of the PS5 or Xbox Series X, we can, basically approximate where it's at. But those apps, the only time it works is if it caters to that hardware. That's the only time it works.
But you're essentially still missing my point, which is still correct. is
For those apps, that's the asterisk that you need to. The asterisk that you need to. Hold on, you can't talk over me. You can't talk over me. I'm about to look. No, you can't talk over me. I'm running something here. You're talking over me. The thing is this. You should. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. So you cannot, right? You cannot. The asterisk was supposed to be on this game. It can run this game. These two pieces of hardware can run this game about the equivalent. That's what it's supposed to be, because they're not native apps. They don't use the PC really well, and nor do they use the fucking these consoles very well. It's just only exclusive for those particular apps if you're going to go by that benchmark.
so.
Are we even wait, one second. You talking about Gamer Nexus, right? Like, ain't it the same guy? That's the same guy who said the PS5 was going to be overheating within a year because of how it was built and all that good shit. That guy.
No, what are you talking about? When did he say that the PS5 is going to be overheating within a year?
He put the PS5 apart.
Jesus
He
Christ.
said that the fucking
Yeah,
the liquid metal is going to dry out and yada yada yada, and there's going to be overheating issues.
The memory, one of the memory modules is
Why
over.
did you say the liquid metal was going to be dry?
Okay, so
I watched the same video. You're lying.
What did he say?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, what did he say?
The only point of contention is that there was a memory module that was not getting sufficient cooling.
Mhm.
That was the only problem. There was a memory module on the PS5 that was not getting sufficient cooling. It was still within spec in terms of the degrees. It was just
The PlayStations would be overheated.
What are you talking about?
What did instead of you saying what do you talk about? What did he say?
No, he never said that. He said that specific module is within his controlled test is cutting it close in terms of what that module expects for in terms of heat. Now, if the actual module or if the actual console is put in within a not favorable position, then it would not be good for said module.
So it'll
But he never said, "Oh, it's gonna overheat within a year." What are you fucking talking about?
So let me say this. Let me say this.
What are you cussing at, my nigga? I'm not cussing at you. Like, bro, you ain't gotta get disrespectful, little guy. I didn't cuss at you like once. Nigga, you don't cuss at me, bro. I didn't cuss at you.
Okay.
The thing is this, right? His test, right? His test was sticking the fucking thermometer in between the fucking the chip itself and the fucking the little clamp. Now that's already going to compromise that's already going to compromise their cooling system, because you have a gap out there. So he's using regular shit. It doesn't work. The stuff that he's doing is the PS5 or Xbox Series X. They're not fucking PCs across the fucking board. They're similar. They're sharing certain things for PC, but they're not PC. They're not PCs. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's software that will not. There's software. Why do you insist on talking over people? I'm trying to figure that out. Why do you insist on doing that?
Y'all talking at the same time. I stopped talking already.
No, you just said you wanted to point out there that I'm incorrect. I guarantee you, like Microsoft Excel and Word will have issues running on these fucking consoles because of the operating system and how the fucking things work. They're not. The PlayStation or consoles in general are supposed to run. They have missing fucking components or missing transistors to keep the cost down. They're not the same fucking thing. They're not the same.
Less transistors doesn't make it not a PC. What?
Then everything's a fucking PC. Your phone's a PC. A tablet's a PC. A calculator's a PC. If you want to put it that way, if you want to talk about semantics, then all of this shit's a PC.
My phone is a computer.
Console.
I said PC, not a computer. That's a different thing. A PC is a personal computer. I said they're different.
That's no weird. Jesus Christ.
It's just weird to me, like you consistently post these things, and it's like you're baiting people. I'm trying to understand, and you can do whatever you want, but it's for me. I'm just trying to understand Why? Let's say everything that you say was true. Why?
Because I felt like posting it. And
There's always a reason. There's always a reason, and you don't even post it in such a way where you're like, oh, I like technology. That's pretty cool that you can get something. Here you go. Huh, fanboys are always doing this. Why are you so mad? Why you? That you're dragging that attention over to yourself.
That's big facts. Like, why even make
So that means to me that you're trying to troll. That's what it is. And if you're trying to troll, if that's your MO, so be it. So be it. But don't act innocent and act like I don't know why you're getting mad for when you literally putting things out there. Go ahead. Rebuttal.
So literally, people were literally responding as if I was attacking their piece of plastic.
It's the way that you present.
Why do you call it that?
What, you want me to call it their favorite toy?
No. Well, why would you call it that? Like, I don't understand. Like, I never understood people who like to be in the conversation of gaming, but then want to call it a piece of plastic at the same time. Like, why are you even in the conversation then? If you say it's a piece of plastic, why make that post? Like, I don't understand you guys, man. It's like you guys have no.
The reason I'm framing it in that light is because me just mentioning their console and a PC within the same sentence, it's like it's a character attack. It's like I'm attacking their character. That's why I'm like, it's an inanimate object, bro. I'm not attacking you as a person. It's an inanimate object. That's why I'm like, it's a piece of plastic. That is why I'm framing it in that certain light.
But you start off the handle though. You start.
Not to the chat though, because you said that somebody was saying something about gaming and something about this and something about that. It's like, bro, let's keep it a buck, right? Hold on. Let's keep it a buck when it comes to games.
I'm outside of my gym right now.
I'm very passionate about video games. I love video games. Video games probably saved my life. I was up there game banging, doing all type of crazy shit. Nigga, if it wasn't for gaming, I probably would have done even more shit than I actually did. And that goes for a lot of people in a lot of different ways other than what I've done. So gaming is a lifestyle for me, big dog. It might not be for you. It might be a piece of plastic to you, but that's a piece of pride, joy for me. I love art, and this is an art to me. This is what I love to do. But people, when they say, "Oh, a piece of plastic," but you don't want to call your PC a piece of plastic because that's what you love. You want to call everything a piece. You want to call these pieces of plastic PC. I never understood the lack of. It's not even a respect thing.
The lack of care.
No, what's not even a care? We don't care that we know that you don't care. It's just that you want to interact with us, with these people who love these pieces of plastic. You, for some reason, you feel the need to interact with people that you don't like about a piece of plastic that you don't like. And that's where it's strange as fuck. Everybody has their own things that they like and don't like, dislike and dislike. Some people like to drive, some people like to drink, some people like to smoke weed, some people like to do all crazy. All I'm saying is, why in the fuck? Like, I won't come first with a crackhead, bro, because it's not my thing. What are we going to talk about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to come first with a crackhead. I'm not going to interact. I'm not going to tell them that crack is bad. That motherfuckers should already know. You know what I'm saying? But it's people like you who need the attention of the people who like the thing that they don't like for some reason. Why is that?
Let's see. In my post, did I ever
answer the question. Why do you need the attention from people you don't like about a piece of plastic that you don't like?
In my post, did I ever show to have tried to draw that attention? Did I ever downsell the PS5? Did I say that was a bad piece of hardware?
I'm only asking, why do you want to communicate with people you don't like about a piece of plastic that you don't like? That's all I'm asking. This type of shit baffles me the most about today's gamers, dog. Y'all love to fucking get into the conversation. You start a conversation about these pieces of plastic you don't like, and then people reply to you, but you don't like none of it. You don't like the people that's going to reply to you. You don't like the thing that you're talking about. Is it too boring at PC? If you talk just about PC, you're not going to get to the response. I don't understand.
Trash. Okay, trash. So you're missing. You're not connecting the dots. I'm trying to align with you. I wasn't. My post is not even targeted towards those people. It's not. It literally is not.
What did your post say?
Like, listen to me.
What did your post say?
My post. Can you allow me to talk? I let you talk.
We did. We just.
Fucking Christ.
No, I'm just trying to understand.
Jesus. Literally, my post never downplayed the PS5 or Xbox Series X. It literally was like, oh, this is interesting. This is a build that is relatively equivalent in power. That's literally it. People got offended. A relatively equivalent to power to the new consoles. People felt offended by that. No, allow me to talk. Allow me to
Thrash, I'm gonna put it in the. I'm gonna put it in the. Thrash, I'm gonna put it in the space.
Jesus.
So here's one.
How is that drawing flies to people of those people that you were talking about that literally they're just like they're drones? How is that? That should not be drawing flies to people that I don't even know. Like, how am I drawing flies? It's literally a tech piece. My post was about technology, and PS5 fanboys went into my comment section and were like, why are you downplaying my console? Why are you talking trash on my console? That is impossible. No way that's possible for $650 PC. Listen,
Because it's incorrect.
Literally, what you were saying of me drawing those people, how was me saying, oh, this is relatively equivalent at this price range? Oh, that's interesting. How is that?
Oh no. See. Let me. So now, see. You, but you keep going on. Let me stop you right there because I'm trying to run this shit. And I'm trying to say something. No. But here's what you. Hold on. Wait.
The PS5 and the Xbox is what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. Here's when you look at your whole post. When you look at your whole post, your whole post history. That's when people are drawing the conclusion. Here's what you said 2 days ago. Can I hold on. Please don't overtalk me. You say day and date is coming in hot real soon. This is not a response to anybody. You just woke up in the morning and posted this shit. You said day and date is coming and coming in hot real soon. And then you follow up with this. Just mentally prepare yourself before mentally prepare before then. PlayStation fanboys, which is another trigger point, and you go through all the stages of grief beforehand. Then you at somebody and said has gone through all of them and has become a better man for it. What do you care?
What? Wait, did you really say that, big dog? I thought you don't talk about that. I thought you don't attract this type of attention. So you do attract this attention. So I'm asking you why? Why do you need this attention?
I said I wasn't trying to attract that attention on a tech piece of that tweet. Literally.
Come on,
literally.
man. How old are you?
What?
How old are you? Tell me you were 18, please.
No, that's not. Jesus Christ, that's not. We're going off topic. We're literally going off topic.
You got it.
Sure am. I don't really care what you think. But literally,
understand. You're trying to change the topic.
I don't care. I'm trying to change the topic.
No, I'm not changing it. Okay, go ahead.
The topic.
All right.
You're literally changing the topic.
Well, I asked the question.
The tweet. I literally said, how am I drawing those flies when those people don't even follow me? None of those people follow me.
Don't have to follow you.
None of those people. The viewership of that singular tweet has nothing to do with the viewership of the other tweets.
You do know that Twitter and any other social media, but no, Twitter and social media is actually, regardless of if you tag or at somebody, is getting a personality of who's doing these tweets and is feeding you this information, whomever. So when you say things like fanboys, PlayStation 5 is it literally start suggesting that shit to you. That's the algorithm that they have for social media, for Twitter in particular. Even
But how would he know what a fanboy is if he doesn't even like or pay attention to these plastic boxes on the people?
he has a PS5 and he has a and he
Why
has.
did I say I don't pay attention to what happens in the gaming community?
Okay, so why do you like why do you like to talk about things you don't? You just call them the plastic boxes and all that good shit, right? Plastic box. PlayStation fanboys talking. I wouldn't even talking to them. Yada yada yada, right? And you don't want to attention, but why do you attract that? Like I attract that kind of attention, nigga. I trigger motherfuckers all day. Whenever it comes to the facts, I am the first nigga to tell you that this is trash. Whatever the fuck I'm talking about, be a PC console. I have no
like me paying at 1440p. I can't play at 4K. I remember that argument, but or I can't afford to, or whatever the fuck you were trying to make a point of.
Regardless of what.
The PC master race, like that's the problem with PC is that it's an open platform, and not all PCs are built alike. Like consoles are.
Yo, Thrash. He also said this. He also said this. You said this too. He said Sony is firing the whole clip on PC right now. This year alone, we got God of War, Uncharted, Sackboy, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Returnal.
Yes, sir.
It looks like it's basically done. Y'all, hold on, wait. Y'all can kiss exclusivity goodbye. Y'all the new Xbox or Xbox.
Let me ask you one question then. How many games in those streets did you beat?
How many?
Yeah.
Let's see. I beat Horizon twice. Console and PC. Oh yeah,
Okay.
no, I used to be a PlayStation gamer.
I'm not do any of that. Go ahead. So you beat Horizon. What else? On PC.
I beat God of War.
You beat God of War on PC.
And on console, and I beat Spider-Man on console and PC.
And what else?
Exactly.
So those three only?
What else did they bring?
Oh wait, and then let me say this. I put this in the spaces too. This is
Days Gone. I wasn't. I bought. You know what's funny? I bought Days Gone. I bought Days Gone on console. I didn't play it for more than 2 hours.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine because that happens. Some games you won't.
Still bragging about it don't come in the PC.
Oh yeah, because it makes people sad.
Oh yeah. So you
That's what
are
we-
trying to trigger people. That's my point.
So if that's what you're doing, if that's what you're
On those tweets, absolutely.
so here wait, hold on, wait. Again, let me run this thing so it won't take forever.
On those tweets, absolutely.
Let me run this. Hold on. Let me run this fucking space just so that we're.
I want to. Okay, so yeah, we'll talk about this, and then I also want to get back on you saying that my PC is not capable of doing more than 14, or why am I playing at 1440p? I literally told y'all niggas this. Like last time we were talking.
You still heard off that?
No, he literally just brought it up.
I said that if you have a PC, I said you have a PC, right? If I have a beefy PC, if you have a.
We never got to the next topic. That's all I'm saying.
So let me read this before we go on because this is why I'm talking about the difference in between. I already got my shit off on terms of that one. This is the point. This is the conversation, Thrash, that he was mentioning. That he said that he's absolved of all claims that he was trying to spark a fanboy war. He says now the YouTube clip, right? And he convolutes the whole thing because he's making a claim based off of somebody that's not making a claim, right? He says a $650 budget PC, which that's almost derogatory in this case, is basically the equivalent in performance to the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and then he gives the link. So he mentions that a basic ass computer that's $650, which still costs more than both of those consoles. So it's like, it's basically the equivalent.
Yeah. And that is a good space to be in on PC, considering where we were 6 months ago, where everything was super fucking expensive. I'm basically showing how prices have gone down.
No, but you could have done that 16. You could have done that so many different ways. You could have showed the pieces. Hey, you could have said, hey, look at all these. If you looking, you could have said that. Hey, if you're looking for, if you can't, you could have said.
Just like what's it called was saying, oh, why did you name PS5 first? What does that matter?
All right, well, hold on. Let me say my thing. Let me say my thing. You could have easily said this. If you guys can't find a console, this guy stated that you can build something for $650. Now, what you didn't also put in there is that memory is like 32. Like, it's not an equivalent. It's 32 gigs, and then it also has 8 gigs for VRAM. It's just not the same. The whole system is not the same.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, that's why.
They're not. There's apples to oranges. So it's.
You know what the two words relatively equivalent add up to?
Relative to what? Relative to what? Like how much difference is it? How much difference is it?
Holy shit! In raw performance, as I say again, before you cut me off or say something online, from Digital Foundry's multiple tests, multiple videos over the 2 years of the console life cycle, whether that be on backwards compatible PS4 games, backwards compatible Xbox One games, native PS4 port or PS5 ports, and native Xbox Series X ports, based on their data, the consoles are between the performance profile of, in terms of raw GPU performance, between the 2060 on the NVIDIA side, 2060, 3080, or on the AMD side, they are between, say, around a RX 6600 and a 6700 XT.
Now I'm going to pause you here, right, and then we can talk about my comment, right? You know how they do benchmark tests on cell phones and PCs, right? You know that they don't use actual like market games. They use actual like demos, test demos, because it caters to that particular hardware. So with Digital Foundry, Gamer Nexus, and whomever, they're using regular retail games, which are not catered to either one of those hardwares. So it's a flawed test in general. When you want to do benchmarking, you find software that is tuned to that hardware or near or around it. I can't stress enough that a console is not a PC, and vice versa. Are you going to ask me a rhetorical question? What are you going to like? What?
No, it's not a rhetorical question. Do you know what raw rasterization performance is?
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
I don't.
So raw rasterization is how much it's how much what rasterizing what? Polygons, vertices, pixels? What are we rasterizing?
Performance within a game.
No, I know, but there's different points that the GPU can rasterize. You can rasterize vertices, you can rasterize pixels or texels, you can rasterize shaders. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the entire? Are you talking about what the GPU is capable of doing? Because if you're just throwing out words and don't know what they quite mean, or are you copying or parroting what they said?
What the GPU is capable of. Well, I'm answering the question for you.
Yeah, what the GPU is capable. What the GPU. So all you have to say instead of you trying to throw in some fancy word, which I already know what it means. I already know what it means. You already know what it means. You can turn the box and find out what the GPU is supposedly capable of doing. They have their benchmarks right there. They'll tell you how many polygons it can render. They'll tell you how many vertices it can render. They'll tell you how many pixels for your fill rate it can render. They can tell you all those things on the box. Okay, so what about it?
So, my point was
What is your point?
raw rasterization, the raw rasterization
Yo, mouse.
performance between game to game comparatively to PC GPUs.
What he's saying, Thrash.
Simple.
What he's saying, Thrash, is that they're taking the game. What he's saying? What he's saying, Thrash, is that they have one benchmark, and they consider the benchmark the game itself. So let's just use Spider-Man, for instance, right? So they're basically saying that the benchmark here is the game Spider-Man, and how many frames is this going to pump out per second, or whatever the case is, right? And what they'll do is they'll tune the GPUs or find a configuration to see where it falls along the lines of. So they keep messing with the settings and the chips and the configurations until they find something that's close to the performance that the console is doing. There's only a one problem though, and that console or that game is not utilizing the console.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, is it utilizing the console? You're talking about Spider-Man, the remaster?
That remaster one. Now he says here because of what Gamer Nexus said and what what do you call it? Digital Foundry is saying. He's saying that basically since it's a next generation app or the current generation app, that it's basically a next generation game.
Yeah, but it's not utilizing the entirety of the console.
No, it's basically what they're doing is.
We're able to draw a conclusion on raw rasterization performance.
A flawed conclusion. A flawed conclusion.
Wait. And the point of my tweet is relative equivalence and raw performance. It is relatively equivalent.
It's not raw. It's not raw if it's not utilizing the console.
Let me finish talking.
No, I'm talking performance. You need to keep on talking, nigga. Look, at the end of the day,
no, and performance and what?
That's relative performance. It's not equal. It's relatively equal. I'm relatively able to fuck the shit out of Beyonce, but I ain't gonna ever fuck Beyonce, my nigga. It's relatively equal. That does not mean equal. So why are we doing it? Why are we talking about like?
Hold on. Let me say this. Hold on. Before you cut me off, here's the thing, right? You know, when you put things in a new API, all they're doing is there's a translator that takes the code. Not saying in real time, because you can do this offline, right? It takes the code from the old API and gives it and translate it into what the new API and the system could read. So. If hold on, stop cutting me off, please. Stop cutting me off. I have to mute you. Stop cutting me off.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
You're gonna just say what I just said.
If I tell you, if you are a sprinter, right? If you're Usain Bolt, right? That has a lot of fucking speed potential. And if I give his ass the instruction to hop on one leg, he can do it. But that don't mean that I'm utilizing what the fuck he can do. That's the equivalent of this putting it into the container of the API. You're not telling the system what it could possibly do. These are flawed fucking benchmarks. Just because you can tell it what to do, don't mean that it can't do any more.
It is literally the raw performance.
It's not raw performance because the console. It's not raw performance because within the container, it's only telling the console or the CPU or GPU only to do it up to this point. It's not telling it to do up to your max. Yo, all right. So I'm not going to go round and round in circles.
If you ever watched the NX Gamer video,
I can't.
you don't know. Oh my god.
Look.
I'm not doing my own question, bro. I can tell by talking to you, bro. I can tell by talking to you. Hold on, you like to hear yourself talk a lot. Let me say something real quick.
No, I got two people. Hold on, wait, hold on, Thrash. I got two other people behind Thrash that want to talk, and you're long-winded. So, all right, Thrash, go on, and I go to Yo.
I just want to say one thing. I want to answer my own question. I asked him earlier, why do you, if you dislike PlayStation and Xbox fans or people who would like those classic boxes, why do you like to communicate with them? And you don't never want to answer that shit, but I figured it out. Let's listen to you talk. The reason why
I don't like fanboys.
let me finish. You're a fanboy, though, so it doesn't make sense. But
I'm not a fanboy.
Okay, cool. You're not a fanboy PC. Good. All I'm saying is that the reason why you and a lot of other PC fans like to talk about console gaming and talk to console gamers is that you guys feel that you're smarter than us. And you want to feel big because you know about somebody's fucking GPU, but shit that console gamers don't give two shits about. When it comes to gaming skill, you never want to challenge that, but you guys always want to challenge on something like specs or something that just doesn't really matter to console gamers. And so you want to have let me finish. You want to have these conversations with console gamers. You want to say things that you know console gamers are going to reply to because they know that you are smarter than them when it comes to what you were talking about. You know what I'm saying?
He got the right one today. He got the right one today. I couldn't tweet the way I wanted it.
You don't make these tweets comparing two different PCs. I never really ever see that. But I will see. No, I've noticed that that's what you PC dudes do because even when y'all make videos, and not just you, I'm talking about the people who actually make videos, they always try to say how stupid console gamers are, how dumb they are, how much they don't know this, and that they always want to look like they're smarter than somebody, and you're no different than them. That's the problem.
I mean, they're the captain of Sony, but I mean, they're on PC gamers too.
No, you guys aren't smart at all. You got these fucking companies robbing you for the same chips that is cheap on a PlayStation, my nigga, or an Xbox. They charge you. Y'all crying about $1,500 fucking. Still gonna buy it because you guys are fucking idiots.
They provide more performance. What do you?
Okay, hold on. Wait. I got there's people that want to talk. Yo, Bless. Hold on. Yo.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Yo. That guy. Yo. Can you speak real quick?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Okay, it's really interesting because I have, like, literally the entry-level PC that he's talking about, I have a 3700 GPU with a 2060, and it's not better than the PlayStation 5.
PC, brother.
That's literally, no, I'm saying it's the equivalent. If it's equivalent. Hold on, let me finish. Now, when you said
6600. Go ahead.
No, the other thing is when you said that. No, when you compared the. No. Anyway.
It's 3700X is slower than a 5600, and 5600 is faster than a 2070. Or sorry, 6600 is faster than a 2060, so it's not the equivalent. But go ahead.
No, you were saying that it was down to in between the 2600 level, and I have a 2600. It's not down to that. But when Digital Foundry, when Digital Foundry said that the PlayStation 5 was what they thought.
Hello? Oh, he glitched out.
Hello?
I'm telling you, y'all gotta know how to speed. Look, I ain't trying to be rude. Y'all gotta know how to speed your shit up because the spaces be fucking up. Your spaces be fucking all the way up. Let him, yo, Bless. Let him speak. Let him speak. You just straight up cut him off. He can't help.
Go ahead. When Digital Foundry said that they thought the PlayStation 5 was based off of was equivalent to the 2600, it was based off of unfinished builds of Gran Turismo 7, unfinished builds of Demon's Souls, and unfinished builds of Spider-Man Miles Morales when they did the showcase, and they only showed them running at 1400p. And they said and they wrongfully assumed that the PlayStation 5 could only do that would be the highest setting, which that was incorrect. Now, when you talk about Gamer Nexus, the only games he showed that was somewhat next gen that would have been a fair apples to apples comparison was Resident Evil 5. Every other game he chose were games that were not properly optimized for the PlayStation 5. Everything else he used were backwards compatible games. And actually, that I'm wrong. He did use one other game.
It's Resident Evil 5. You mean Devil May Cry?
Yeah, Devil May Cry. And that was about it. But everything else he was using other games that did not have a proper next gen patch. So again, that's a flawed comparison. And
that's wrong. He used Dirt 5 as well. He used Dirt 5 as well as a native port, but go ahead.
Okay.
Dirt 5. Dirt 5. Yeah.
No, keep in mind, yo, there's one more person behind you that wants to speak.
Well, I have to go back and see how Dirt 5 compares, but either which way, like in between those, he was also wrong saying that they're equivalent to to 1070, which again, that's also laughable, but I digress.
1070 is
Anyway, that's the thing. What you're talking about, 2060, it was based off of games that weren't really that well optimized. You can say that Dirt 5 possibly was. I would say Spider-Man will be a better comparison. Whenever Uncharted Lost Legacy comes out, would be a better comparison. And whenever we see more games that were made with these next-gen consoles in mind. And one game that was made well was the newest Assassin's Creed. And we know how that does compared to a PC. And that's on the high end. And it's interesting that all your specs that you post, they only show 1080p and they don't show 1440p performance or 4K performance. And you know why? Because you know that the comparison would not be so favorable. And that's it.
Okay, so I have a couple of points of contention. Let's see. So when Digital Foundry, well, I'm not talking about pre-PS5. I'm talking about
That's when it says.
I'm talking about all the testing that they have done since then. When I said 2060, I was mainly speaking on the the ray tracing performance. The ray tracing performance. They did it on they tested it on Watch Dogs Legion, where they were like, oh, this ray tracing performance is. They were saying it is on the level of a 2060 Super or lower, because the 2060 Super was actually outperforming it. So that's why I said down. That's why I said down to a 2060. And Watch Dogs Legion is a game that didn't perform that very well. And in terms you said Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You know what's funny about that? Assassin's Creed Valhalla was an AMD sponsored title. And what that means is, essentially, AMD worked with NVIDIA. Well, not NVIDIA. AMD basically sponsored the title, so they spent the bread to sponsor the said title. And the Ubisoft team, they basically helped engineer a better, what do you call it? They helped engineer basically more optimization for the AMD side, for Radeon GPUs. Literally, if you were to look at the performance of Assassin's Creed Valhalla before NVIDIA, because NVIDIA didn't release a driver for Assassin's Creed Valhalla immediately. If you looked at the raw performance from the AMD side versus the NVIDIA side, the NVIDIA side was getting slaughtered. Like literally, a 3090 was like essentially losing to a RX 6800. A RX 6800 is what? The retail price was like $670. A 3090 is $1,500.
So let me. I'm sorry.
Just
Listen.
to put you in perspective, and what is in a PS5 is an AMD GPU.
So let me say this. So let me say this. I only have a limited amount of time, brother. Game tight. Did you want to jump in?
Go ahead, Game Type. My bad, bro. This comparison sounds so flawed, bro. But I'll wait till Game Type. Go ahead, Game Type, bro.
You can literally, the videos are still up. You can go.
No, we know that the videos are still up, but the problem here is that, for instance, right? I'm gonna go back to PlayStation 3, right? Uncharted 1 ran horribly on a PS3. It had screen tearing and everything, right? And then they made Uncharted 2, which ran almost flawlessly and looked better in every way with the same hardware. That's why I'm saying that situations like this is flawed. When you tune it to the system itself, your software, you can get a lot of different results. These benchmarks they mean nothing. Game Type, go on, man.
I mean, y'all kind of already covered what I was going to say. I was just going to say about how, based on what you was just saying about how it would be different. I mean, it's not really apples to apples because, you know, they're not comparing both systems to their max capability. You know, that's all I was gonna touch on. Y'all kind of already touched on.
I'm gonna say.
I have a question. I have a question. So you've basically been focusing mainly on the PS5 this entire time, like I knew you would. But how do you feel about the Series X in this comparison? Because
I'm focusing on a PS. I'm focusing. Let me answer your question. I'm focusing on a PS5, right? Because I read your tweet history, and most of everything that you say when you want to do your baits or whatever you're doing, it's centered around PS5 and their exclusives and it just PS5 in general. So I'm only tailoring the conversation to that. But to answer your question, it applies the same fucking way. I told you from the very beginning. I keep saying consoles. The consoles and PCs are different. I stay with that statement. It doesn't. Strad said it earlier. They're not the same. They're not on
a version of Windows 10.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about hardware. You keep moving the goalposts. I'm talking about the hardware itself. I don't give a fuck what operating system it is. I don't care about the operating system. The hardware itself is still apples to oranges. It doesn't matter what hardware it is. Period.
The Xbox Series X isn't that complicated. The PS5 is more.
How do you know it's not that complicated? Well, I want to ask you this, right? Because everything that you say, everything that you say, you are giving the illusion. Please, I don't want to mute you again. Everything that you say about about things that like you don't know about this. You're not a developer, nor am I. So I get this. So I'm not claiming this. I'm just looking at logistically at these comparisons. And that the fact that I programmed before.
Yeah, and that's the question I had. I'm like, wait, so they only compare the 1080p version of the game? Like they only compare I don't want to hold conversation.
No, we're not gonna do a yes or no.
No, we are going to do yes or no because I don't have all fucking day. I don't have all day.
We're not gonna do a yes or no.
No, we are going to do a yes or no because we are going to do it.
No. The reason I say that is because this was another point of contention. You're basing your idea on the raw performance as this is a 1080p card. If you actually if you listen to what I'm saying, let me finish my point. I don't understand my point. I'm not. Okay. Whatever. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm going to be in another 10 minutes.
Okay. Now, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are both capable of running games at higher than 1080p. You can run Spider-Man. Read that 4K, I'm not sure if you can, okay? Your tweet, from what I understand, is that you talk about the parents of this card and that it's basically the same as these consoles, right? Even though it doesn't run these games at 4K at 1440p. So that I don't understand why this comparison was even made. I don't even understand that the PlayStation and the Xbox Series X is capable of running things at 4K. You said thing. 4K.
Okay.
I don't understand the comparison.
Okay.
Clearly, things that hardware can.
Okay. Let me explain it to you. Please, nobody interrupt. Okay. Cool. So you're literally taking the metric of he tested at 1080p. He tested at 1440p. That's the performance of this console, or that's the performance of this PC. This is trash. Bro, he's testing for 1080p, high detail, high frame rate.
That's nice.
I just said, don't fucking interrupt me.
All right, no, dude. Respect the fucking chat, dude. Like, for real.
Literally just said, don't interrupt me.
No, because, again, I keep telling you, you're not respecting the chat and you're not respecting me. I don't have all day with this shit. I don't.
That's what I'm trying to get my point across.
Well, consolidate it, dude.
Oh, shit.
The main point is that you said that the price of these are the same, and you talked about the price of these consoles versus this chip, and the chip is actually higher, or whatever this setup was, still costed more. But the PlayStation and the Xbox both can run these same games at a higher resolution than that setup. And if that's true, then I don't know why you even went to make that comparison, because you get more or less. You would have to pay more money to catch up to the PlayStation and the Xbox versions of these games, right? That's what I'm saying. So why even make that comparison? It's embarrassing to make that kind of comparison if that's what you're going to run with, but you want to ignore the resolutions that's capable on the other platforms. Even though you're saying that the insides are basically the same. Well, obviously they're not. If the inside of the PS5 and the Xbox can run 4K, and the inside of that PC that you were talking about cannot. You can say performance all you want. Nice, performance, good. That's pretty good. But it's not doing the same exact thing as these consoles are doing for cheaper. What if I don't give two shits about performance and I wanted to see the crispiness of my 78-inch motherfucking TV? So it's a bad comparison. And if Scammer, Nexus, and Digital Foundry did this, it's a horrible comparison. It's not even a comparison, especially if you're talking about how much money something costs. Now we need to talk about how much would it cost PC players to have the ability to run these games at 4K. Then you can have a conversation. Other than that, it's a dumb conversation, because clearly the hardware of the PC is not matching the hardware of the PlayStation at that price.
And I don't think, on top of it, I don't think that you can force, like, you can change the settings of the PlayStation 5 or Series X, right? To say, oh, I want you to do 1080p. It's not, even that dropping the resolution. Like, you can't just say, I just wanted you to do 1080p and have the whole system reconfigure everything else. Like, okay, so you change the output, but is it really like lowering the fill rate so it's not you know what I mean? Like, it's not adjusting the engine in that particular regard. Like, you're saying that, oh, if you're taking away the bottleneck of running all these pixels and shaders at once, and if you want to know about pixel or polygon generation or rasterization, just rasterization in general, like, it's just it's weird. The whole thing is just a weird conversation.
What happens if you set that same PC setup to 4K, like the PlayStation Spider-Man could? If you set that same setup to that setup, will that PC be able to run Spider-Man? No?
Okay. Am I allowed? This is not going to be a yes or no. You can talk for like 5 minutes straight. Okay, I can talk now?
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to understand the extra emotional. Like, it's just extra emotional with it. Just say your thing. Okay, yes, you can talk.
Okay. So that's where I was going at originally. The person that was testing it at arbitrary resolutions, static resolutions, 1080p, 1440p. It was testing for high frame rates. Not just 60. I'm talking about 100 plus at high detail. There's not the same thing. Consoles, they are not typically. They're not all running at the same in terms of detail. They're not running at the same in terms of. They're not all running at ultra settings. Consoles, they're varying settings to eke out the best performance. Also, consoles, they are also not running at arbitrary resolutions. They're not running at static resolution. When you're talking about the 4K mode, it is rarely actually native 4K. I don't know if you know this, but it's rarely actually native. It is more than likely dynamic. For most games, I watched Digital Foundry, the resolution is typically never native 4K. So when you're talking about, they're running at 4K, it is with a dynamic resolution typically. And that dynamic resolution can vary greatly. It could be between like 1296p and like 1930p, and not even reach 4K, native 4K.
So I can say anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What? I'm just saying, these consoles are ran to. These consoles are made, and the developers put the settings in to properly utilize
the best performance as they can. But typically, PC games don't typically have a dynamic resolution mode. They don't typically have that. Typically, PC games you play it at 1080p, you play it at 1440p, you play it at 4K. You may in some games you may see a render scale, so you can play it at 80% of 4K or 75% of 1440p, but typically you're not going to be getting a dynamic resolution within these games. So when you're talking about the PS5 and Xbox Series X plays the games at 4K, typically they don't. They don't typically. There's rarely the chance where they're actually reaching 4K. And on top of that, when they're using dynamic resolution scaling, they'll typically use, say, like an upscaler like AMD FSR 1.0 or Insomniac's what do you call it?
Injection.
What do you call it? Their specific
injection.
Checkerboard resolution. They're typically never.
Spider-Man was tested, right? Spider-Man was tested. I'm right here looking at Digital Foundry's test, and it says that at lowest it was 1500p. So, 15.
That was the 60. That was the 60 frames per second.
It was saying at its lowest, and this is in the 4K mode, full native 4K output. Most of the time, the dynamic resolution scaling is in effect, and it can drop to near 1512p. So 4K most of the time, but if it drops, and you said it'll drop to 1512p. Can that stick or that PC setup run at 1512p? Because if it can, then it's not matching up right.
I don't know.
Well,
I haven't seen one.
That's how bad the test was. Because if it's going to be about comparing, it's going to be about choosing the two prices. The two prices of the console versus the PC, but the console is doing it better. Then what is the thing? Like what is it? Did they do frame rate and 60 frames per second at the same time?
My brother in Christ. The video that I linked. Okay, cool. I don't fucking care. My brother in Christ. Literally, he had nothing to do with. He had nothing to do with my post of PS5. That post, none of you have watched the actual video. It has nothing to do with the consoles. That post is the only thing that has to do with the consoles.
That's what we're talking about. Your tweet. At 60 frames per second mode of ray tracing, the resolution is 1080p. Was that card able to do 1080p with ray tracing at 60 frames per second with Spider-Man?
I think it's performance with ray tracing.
No, Spider-Man specifically is a very demanding game because there's not direct storage on PC for that game.
You said it was basically equivalent, right? So if it's it doesn't sound like relatively equivalent. Okay, well that's
you win some, and you lose some. Like
why you lose some? If you're supposed to be better, like why are we even making this conversation if it already costs more and still losing to the cheaper hardware?
If I were to say, this card is always better, I wouldn't have said relative. I wouldn't have put the asterisk there. I would have just said and just posted, the 6700 XT, because the 6700 XT is definitely better than the fucking PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I apologize.
And with that.
I apologize. It's not 1080p at 60 frames with ray tracing. It's 1440p most of the time at the lowest end with the 1080p. My fault. Is your PC setup? You said it's about frame rate, right? So was it holding 60 frames per second with ray tracing with Spider-Man?
In Spider-Man, I don't think so. Because that PC. That's what specifically. Right. Specifically, Spider-Man. The Spider-Man on PC is held back because there's no direct storage.
So This is why that shit is flawed then, right? Why even make this comparison when there is no comparison?
That is one game.
That's one, but listen, listen,
We're talking about one game right now. We're talking about one. If it's one game that runs better, cheaper, then it's already better to have a PlayStation than a PC.
I never argued which you should buy. Oh, like, jeez.
No. What he does is he's trying to blend all this shit together, so it can seem like he's not saying something that he really is. Like we can, like everybody can read between the lines.
That they used that and that Dirt 5 game, right? Those are the only two that utilize the PS5 in some way, right?
No, what are you talking about? Dirt 5? That's a complete.
Oh, a different one. Okay, that's a different one. That's that PC that you played about so much.
It really. Hold on, Thresh. Let me say this. Hold on, because I'm just going to end this. I got enough information to understand this conversation and to give more context to your text. I know exactly what you're doing now, so I don't need to explore this any further. I'm totally. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's on point. He's on point. He's on point. Because the thing is, I told you in this tweet, right? When we were having our exchange, I sat there and I said, well, those games are last generation. Basically, they're not native apps. And then when you do find a game that is native apps, the performance metric is flawed, like the Dirt 5 or whatever the fuck it is, or Spider-Man. This is all a testament to software, really utilizing the console or the hardware or not. That's what the testament is.
When they're doing the comparison from console to PC, they'll literally try to make it setting for setting exactly the same, and then they just run a benchmark. They go through and they play a sequence of the game over and over again on different cards and on the consoles to see which performs better.
But the problem is, I keep saying this. I don't know how many different. I don't know. I'm only going to keep this space open for like 3 minutes. I don't know how many different directions and avenues I have to take, because again, you could have a fucked up piece of hardware such as Arc, right? And Arc doesn't run well on any fucking thing. You need to brute force everything. Arc is not indicative of what the GPUs or CPUs or any of those fucking things could do. That's the thing. These benchmarks, including Control, because Control is a last generation game. I've mentioned the example before. If you take a fucking Usain Bolt, whatever his name is, the fucking sprinter, we all know what the fuck he could do. But if you're giving him instructions to just jog, he's going to just jog or hop on one leg or whatever. This is what the CPU, GPU, and these consoles are not being utilized. They're not given instructions to actually use themselves to the fullest potential. That's the thing. Meaning this, right? You know how? Wait. You know how you can cap a frame rate, right? It does. Wait. I can have a PlayStation 1 game, right? And I can set in the system, right? Don't go past 30 frames a fucking second. Now, I can put that shit on the 4080 or 4480 or whatever the fuck new GPU is and run this PS1 game on this system. Are you telling me that it can't render past 30 frames a second? That's what I mean by software dictates what's going on, and you have to have specific software. This conversation is concluded. Thank you guys for joining in. I'm not, no more, yo. No more. No more. I'm already over it, man. I got enough information.
Bro, they measure frame drop. How else do you think they measure it when it's literally capping?
You ain't getting it. You don't get it. I already mentioned. I gave you. He don't get it. Yeah, I told you the Last Guardian runs like shit on my PS5. That is not indicative of what the PS5 can do. It's all software based with limitations.
There's not even a native port of that game, bro. What are you talking about?
He don't know. He doesn't know. See, the thing is, everybody, he doesn't know what a native port is exactly, what that entails. All he knows is that it says PS5 on a fucking tab or it says that the game is a Series X.
Per second will be locked at 30 frames per second, regardless of what console it's on. If it's locked on 30 frames per second on the PS4, and they bring it to PS5, and they fucking made a port for PS5, and it's that locked at 30 frames per second still. Man, there's plenty of games that are like that until they come out with a patch. And when they had to redo damn near everything to make it, which is a very rare thing.
And that's one aspect of software. There are many different engines that make an entire engine. So you base it off of frame rate, and whatever the case is, the situation is so layered. I already know what you're doing in the general, and I just wanted to understand. I was hoping you came into here, so now I get it. You're just trolling.
I want to have a one-on-one talk with you because I can literally
it's clear to me. It's clear to me you like the attention. It's clear to me that you like the attention because just going based off. Look. My grandma always told me this.
This is exactly what you just saying right here. It's that he feels that he's smarter, but when somebody outsmarts him on his own smarts, he feels like...
What have you literally outsmarted me on anything?
Anybody that listens to this podcast, everybody...
Where's it equivalent to PlayStation when it's not? I just proved it to you by saying, can it run Spider-Man at 1440p, 60 frames per second? No, it's not equivalent to the PlayStation.
You named one game.
No, I proved to you that it's not equivalent. Equivalent means all games, because equivalent means all games. That's what equivalent means.
I said, that's what I said.
Smart. No, you just got outsmarted by somebody.
No, I said relatively equivalent.
Look, he gonna throw in relatively equivalent.
What do you mean?
Holy shit! You don't know what the word relatively means?
You can't.
What do you mean by relatively? And you couldn't answer before I answered it for you.
Brother, the exception does not make the rule. You named the one fucking game.
Okay, I named one game.
The game does not make the rule. This owner has posted 20 plus games at this point versus PC.
And none of them running at 4K, right?
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, right? If I were a scientist, right? If I were, hold on, wait. Look. I want you guys. No. Hold on. I need to hold on for Thrash. Hold on. Wait. Thrash. I gotta mute. Everybody gonna get muted. So here's the thing, right? If I were a scientist, right, and if I had 5 tests to prove my point, and 4 of those things went well, and 1 of them didn't, I need to go back to the fucking drawing board. That's a flawed experiment. You're saying it's just one game across the board. Now he left. He's pissed off about it. Anybody that's listening to this, you already know I'm speaking fucking factual information. It's not about PC Master Race. It's not about Xbox. It's not about ponies. It's not about any of these things. Right? It's not about any of these fucking things. The bottom line is this. Any scientist worth their salt, if they're doing a test, they're going to run this test over and over and over again until the probability becomes so low that they can make an assumption and say, hey, most of the time this happens. But if you only have a few fucking test subjects, I forgot what the fuck they call it, but if you only have few tests within an experiment and a couple of them worked and some of them don't, you got to go back to the fucking drawing board to figure out what happened. Am I right or am I incorrect?
No, you're right. I mean, you know what it is, though. Like I said, man, PC players always going to do this type of shit. They get mad when the conversation gets to the point to where they've been proven wrong. If you gotta handicap the PlayStation in order to make a comparison, or handicap anything to make a comparison to anything, then you're not making a comparison. Period. If you're gonna take away the fact that Sony can run the same games at a higher resolution than that card, that they're not equal in any way, shape, or form, they are separate. Just like if Sony can't, if PlayStation 5 can't run those games at a higher frame rate, then they're not equal, right? It just is what it is. But you can't take away what Sony does better and only talk about what PC does better That's where you're mistaken. That's where his mistake in his conversation is. He only wanted to talk about what was better on PC, and then wanted to say, "Oh, it's relatively equivalent," because you want to put that word equivalent in there when it's not relatively equivalent, because you didn't give a equivalent motherfucking comparison to begin with. If your fucking PC couldn't run at 10 higher than 1080p or run at 4K or 1440p or whatever the fuck it was running, if the PlayStation was running at better resolution and had the same launch frame rate or the frame rate at 60 and with ray tracing, and you can't do that, then you need to actually include that in your comparison to show people, hey, yeah, this can run this better at this frame rate that I just set up my settings for, but it's not nowhere close to the full spectrum that you would get from a PlayStation or an Xbox at a cheaper price. So PC players always do this type of shit because it's an open platform with a PC that they don't even have or don't even use.
He has a PS5, and the funny thing is, he has a PS5. He has a PS5.
Yeah, he's working attention.
That's what I figured out. That's what I figured out. And the thing is, I may play my PlayStation. I ain't know. I told people I fucking programmed before. You're not getting this.
This is why I don't get into the whole frame. Even when I do my analysis, I don't get into the frame rate resolution shit because it's minute to me. I'd rather talk about my gaming experiences and what we're going to experience as gamers and what we're going to see with our own eyes. Not worry about frame rates and resolutions because we have no control over that. We have a PlayStation or Xbox. Those specs are locked there. We're not going to be able to get any higher or any lower than what we got as individual. If you're a PC, I understand you can buy these chips, you spend all this fucking money. Yeah, I get you can make your shit different and you should talk about that. But why compare it to a console that doesn't have that same ability to switch out some shit?
What's up, Fado?
And even worse, to make it the way you want it to be. It's not how consoles are. It's just a dumb. It's always dumb to talk PC and console in the same sentence. They are not the same thing.
Black, what you gotta say?
I just want to say one thing real quick. PlayStation games, they just look better anyway. This conversation is dumb, period. So,
I gotta tell him I appreciate him giving me the topic here. Because at first I don't like things that don't make sense to me. It makes me glitch out, yo. What the fuck is this? So when I was reading this shit, it didn't make any sense. Go on, Black.
It was good, man. And first of all, I just want to say fuck this nigga Thrash, dog, because this nigga literally said everything I was about to say, bro. And no lie, the God, nigga, bro. But like, look, this shit is so dumb, dog. This whole conversation, bro. Because look at the stipulations, nigga, for this PC to run relatively air quotations, nigga. And this is the PlayStation 5, nigga. We talking this is $250 more because the PlayStation starts up at the $399 price point. You don't need the fucking drive. But we're talking about performance, and we're talking about this fucking machine that has capabilities that Dead Dark or used yet, bro. They have the games that he's refusing to acknowledge or say that the PlayStation is running better on. Those games are using partial amounts of the potential of the PlayStation 5, bro. So we can't. So we're basically handicapping the PlayStation. Okay, you have 6 arms, nigga, but only use 2. Now let's see how good you can perform in this scenario. That's what the fuck we're doing, nigga.
Yeah,
it's just dumb. We haven't even fucking entertained this fucking conversation, dog. I'm fucking. I talked to you about this shit yesterday, nigga. I told you how dumb this was, bro.
He just spit bars right there, man.
That's all I'm saying, but it's just stupid, bro. I was just laughing, dog. But I was like, it's entertainment, I guess, dog. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, good shit, nigga. It was a good podcast, nigga. It's for sure.
No, I appreciate that, yo. It is good entertainment, yo. Like anybody that hear this shit, yo, anybody, is gonna be like, what the fuck was he talking about?
Hey, I just want to say, look, man. Nobody, these PC dudes, man. They I don't know, man. They just be going. Watch your mouth. You niggas lost. You just woke up in this one.
Oh, shit. What's up, nigga, bro?
You say, welcome to this life, we PC nigga. This nigga's a knucklehead, bro. I'm like, why is he making these dumbass, bro? Like, niggas having the wrong conversation. We gotta sit down, cry, nigga. We gotta have the big nigga. Like, I'm one of them niggas.
Yo, thanks, Reese. What's going on, Reese?
With this fucking
I don't know.
I would look, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, because we know that you're a different breed, right? Jemiah, the problem here with this situation is that this happens so often with a lot of these fake ass PC people. They're not real, these guys, and it's like the ones that keep talking about it. I went down. You can say relative. You can say that I like technology. You can say all this good shit. But we all know what you're doing. I'm looking at your post history, and you're constantly trying to bait a console warrior at every turn. And then when somebody brought it the fuck up, you're like, "Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I'm just talking about my spec tweets." No, nigga, you across the board, you're trying to irritate people. I guess for attention, and you can tell he's young. He a young buck. He a young buck.
To talk about the PS5 anyway.
We don't have an answer.
Yeah, that's why I asked him. I'm like, why are you there that's tweeting so much? That's like rambling about it. Yeah. When niggas say piece of plastic, that shit low key trigger me, dog. I don't know why.
It's due though.
It's a piece of plastic, bro. I don't see it that way. Nigga, this is my entertainment, nigga. This is my nigga, we have life, bro. Nigga, game is live, nigga.
Yo, can someone give me some nonsense though? Because I came in at the end. I didn't know what the fuck the nigga was talking about by the end of the
No, Jemiah, I wish I can give you a synopsis. I'm gonna try my best, right? I'm gonna try my best and let you get your two piece, right? So
be quiet. I didn't talk. We already had our conversation.
yeah, so essentially, clip notes. So essentially, what he was saying, right, is you can build a $650 computer to rival a PS5. Now he basically was using the benchmarks of last generation games, essentially, right? And that's how he was getting it. That's how he was getting it. But the guy proved it. The guy proved it. Now he wasn't talking about consoles. He just said that you can get a decent performing computer for $650, right? He took it. I'm gonna show you the link. He took it. He remixed it, right? He remixed it. Huh?
I got 1%. I just noticed I got 1% of my shit. My shit about to go out. I just want to say, hey, good show. I wish I could be here to hear the rest of this shit, but my shit literally about to go out, man. All
right, man.
I'm about to go play D&D anyways.
I just want to get your PC basically on the PSN. All right, Threads, peace out. So basically on this YouTube channel, the guy, like he was really benign. He was helpful. He was trying to get people to get a budget computer. So what Bless did is he said basically this computer is relatively equivalent to a console. That's what he said. Even though the guy that made the YouTube channel said nothing about consoles, right? So that's one of the issues. Now the way that he's getting his information is from Digital Foundry. So they'll take a game like Assassin's Creed or what do you call it, Dirt, and then find different configurations to match the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X and say that, oh, it's basically the equivalent. Now, my argument was this. I said consoles and PCs are not the fucking same. They're not the same because, A, when a console manufacturer make one of these things, they got to strip fucking transistors to make it cheaper. And they got to make sure that like it's designed so it can be cheap and you can get the best bang for those transistors. On top of that, you have programmers that can get the most out of a fixed hardware because they don't have to think about other factors. He kept saying over and over and over again that the fucking consoles were equivalent of this card and that card. I'm like, bro, it's apples to oranges. And we already know it's a PC is more powerful. Everybody knows that. Most people know that shit. But he wants the fanboy war. He's pretending like he's not console warrior and not being a PC master race by saying I said relative and I don't know why people are getting upset about their plastic box and shit like that. That's basically what he's saying. So
you can never build an equivalent PC to a console. It doesn't make any sense. It's just not possible. You know what I mean?
You could build a PC that's more powerful, and most of them are. But
the specs are like half the story, right? Like, so you can say like, okay, these specs match up. Okay, yeah, that's true, maybe, but like, it's not going to be the same equivalent output. You know what I mean? Like he was actually saying, the PC doesn't have a lot of tricks where you can like upscale shit. You know what I mean? Switch it around. So if the PC has to throw the raw fucking output of it, it's gonna lag behind the console because the console was built in a certain way to take advantage of having that those specs. You know what I mean? Like you said. So I don't know what his argument was. That's dumb as fuck. Like, and also like niggas, you can't be PCMR if you have a low end PC. I'm gonna tell you right now.
He got a monitor. He got a monitor that's 1440p, and I'm like, yo, if you have a beast ass computer, you better get the full 4K. Why would you do a 1440p?
I don't talk to broke ass PC niggas, bro. Like them niggas is worse than console niggas to me.
This nigga
like,
bougie.
You know what I mean? Like, you have the options to go out there and get the best PC possible, and then you have this fucking 1260 Ti rig, and you talking the PS5 things. Like the PS5 is better to me objectively. You know what I mean? Than anything under a 3080. You feel me? Like anything under a 3080, you might as well just get a fucking PS5 because you're not going to be able to. The devs aren't going to go and take the care to give you that extra shit by using all that raw power and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not going to say that. They're not going to say that this RAM has a limitation here, so let me just do this, and then this console does this, so let me circumvent it this way. Then you're not. That's why the settings will never be equivalent, because they have to come up with their own settings to fit that need in performance. It's just as stupid, even when Digital Foundry does it. And I know you get pissed off with Digital Foundry. It was always retarded.
Yeah.
The comparisons were dumb. They know that they feed into like the console wars and they get their money in clicks, and do you. But when somebody want to have a logical conversation and say that this is not the equivalent, and you're basing this off of fucking Digital Foundry, these niggas are not engineers, nor are they programmers. Where's your game at? Where's your game? Where's your software? Where's your dev? As a matter of fact, scratch that. Where's your dev kit for the PS5?
And a lot of times, if you look at these Digital Foundries and a lot of these fucking like what do you call them people who want to do benchmarks and shit, they're always using some weird ass PC config too. Like it's never like it's always like I'm using 16700X or whatever fucking AMD has. And it's like, bro, that's not the best possible set for you, right? My point is if you're gonna do it, the PS5 has one SKU, right? One model, right? But then you're gonna test out the model against a bunch of different cards who weren't made with the same technology or in the same generation. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of factors you're putting in there, and then you're trying to measure the two against each other, and it's never gonna match up. Like, you know what I mean? So if you had a 3090 Ti in there, the fucking Heinz i9 fucking Intel processor, 64 gigs of RAM, all this extra shit, and then you're gonna say, oh, but it costs more. No shit, it costs more. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. You pay for what you get for, right? Like if you want a Bugatti, I'm gonna talk shit that he has a Bugatti and have an Apparat. You know what I mean? I just know that, you got a better car than me.
And conversation is over. And the conversation is over.
Performance are better from PC over console, I'm gonna have to pay extra. You can't pay the same amount and expect the same results as consoles. It's never gonna happen. Like the consoles are gonna outperform the PC that has the low specs. It's just the way PCs are set up. PCs have to have overhead. You have to have a bunch of factors involved. The RAM, the CPU, the GPU. You know what I mean? It's not just fucking. I throw a fucking 3090 in there, and all of a sudden I'm getting fucking 1,000 frames a second, fucking 8K. That's not how it works.
And I gave him an example of this, and I'm going to close out this shit. I gave him the example, very simple example, right? The example was very easy, right? The example was this. If I had a PlayStation 1 game, right? And I got to emulate it, and the fucking software says it can't go beyond 30 frames a second. Like, are you going to say that if I put it in the fucking 3080, that's the limit? Like, software matters. And you have to have that software tuned to the hardware. I say usually when you have GPUs, the benchmarks software that they use they're not games. They have games, but then you also have like tech demos, so you can see so you can gauge it. You know what I mean? Or software that kind of caters to it or whatever. Like Cyberpunk was one of those fucking pieces of hardware or whatever the case is, and he just didn't want to fucking believe that shit, yo. He was on some other shit, yo. It was just weird. It was weirdo shit. Because it's like, okay, if you want to be a troll online and get your engagement that way, fine. But don't jump in these conversations and be completely like outclassed. by niggas that knows what the fuck they're talking about. Like, this ain't your fight. Sit out. Sit it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say more. Like, I never understood this mentality where people are trying to get like a PC that's like a console, right? The point of getting a PC is to go beyond consoles, is to take off limitations. You know what I mean? And also, the downside is, and it's like Smash at it, it's an open platform. So unless the devs go out of their way, like Rockstar does, and like most Blizzard games and things like that, unless the devs go out of their way to make the PC version a lot more utilized, it's not really it's gonna get the monitors and shit like that to give you that extra out of it. But you're never gonna be able to really have a head-to-head with console. I don't think it's not a valid argument, especially with a low budget PC. Like I said, it's never gonna work out for you. Like the hardware needs to have a lot of shit behind it because the software is lacking when it comes to PC. Most of these ports, you think that Sonic was like, let's make this shit the best PC port ever, and I don't think they even port it. I think Nixon did, right?
Yeah, Nixon did it, and they like 50.
Round up for 3090 up. You can definitely see the difference, but most of these PC games, like a lot of third-party PC games, you can see the difference, like Resident Evil and shit like that, Cyberpunk. You're gonna see the difference because it was made to be multi-platform. But when it comes to exclusive games, especially PlayStations, they're going to utilize the consoles way better than what the PC version is going to be able to put out unless they take the time to do it. It's just the way it is. Like, you can't really compare Spider-Man on PC to Spider-Man on PS5. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even the same game.
And then I got one more thing to say, not about PCs, but Xbox, right? Because this is another thing that came out, right? They were talking about how this was an exchange, saying that the Xbox, right, had more performant games because of the tools, right? The tools that just recently came out, and now they're saying that the PlayStation 5 is kind of like struggling to meet up with the software. And I'm actually curious as to why the person who made this conversation didn't show up ever. So, I think it was just like these motherfuckers know what they're talking about. Essentially, they said that when Xbox Series X is based off of it's based off of Windows, and their tools are according to Windows. And the Xbox Series X is the closest to a PC than the PlayStation 5 is to the PC, because of all the custom hardware that they have in there, to compensate for the lack of transistors that they have. So, in this particular, that's why it's overclocked and stuff like that. So in this particular case, they were saying that because of the tools, that the Xbox Series X was outperforming it. Now, the reason why they were getting some games that were like running better is because it was using the backwards compatibility mode, which is based off of the Series X, which is a more powerful hardware. Based off, the software is supposed to utilize the hardware, or whatever the case is. So a lot of the times you'll get like these cross-generation games that work better. And again, fucking hell, man. Can y'all guys hear me?
Somebody on the grass outside your shit.
No, somebody was calling and then it just popped in there. So the situation is like when it comes to the Series X or whatever like that, he was thinking like the thing that Digital Foundry kept saying was they were saying that it was a native port, right? It's a native port. It's a native port. And I'm like, bro, native port don't mean that it's utilizing the console. The Mark Cerny thing that rode the PS5, he specified that you don't have to use next generation features within the PlayStation 5. And I'm assuming the same thing is happening with the Series X. Just because they're in the container of the next gen, I mentioned it like an example. It's supposed to be like a translator. So when they do this shit offline and they convert the code over from GCN to RDNA4, it's just converting the language over to there so it can run the game. I said that's like talking to Usain Bolt and knowing his performance, telling him to hop on one leg. Like, we all know what he can do. That's a gross underutilization of what he could do. But he'll do it because of the instructions that you give it. To give him. The same thing with these fucking PCs and consoles. They are not being utilized, and it's going to take year 3 before you start seeing utilization and beautiful games, stuff like that. That's all that it really is. That's what it boils down to. And the custom software or hardware that's in the PS5 such as the geometry engine and all of those like cache scrubbers and the IO throughput and all of the other shit, you have to do a little bit more work to get some performance out of the PS5 because it is a little bit more custom than the Series X. So having a game do 5 frames a second more or slightly higher resolution, that's not a W. That is not significantly more. They're fucking cross-gen games. Let's talk in year 3 when we see that fucking Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Definitely is going to be a big leap. But also, let's say before I go, someone go put some D&D, greatest game ever made.
I like it. You have to put that caveat in there, but go on.
But I was going to say, also, we got to pick the fact that PC is in Gen 4 right now. The PS5 has next gen 5.0, is 5.0 gen, console. The PC has not got that yet. The 40 series and the new Intel AMD CPUs come out, that will be our 5th gen. We're going to get DDR5 for our memory. Everything's moving now. We're PCIe 5.0 now. The card's out now, even the 3090, it's a 4.0 PCIe fucking card right there. That's Gen 4. So PC hasn't even reached its Gen 5 yet. Y'all niggas got ahead because of the pandemic and the chips and shit, so niggas couldn't put up their shit. But now that we step into the 5th generation, right? When we get the 4090s and shit, and our DDR5, and our extra shit, you know what I mean? And our fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, that fucking GDR6X and all that gloriousness, the new architecture, then we can maybe have some comparisons with a 4060 and some shit. But you guys are already a generation ahead of us when it comes to the architecture of your consoles, right?
The bottom line is it's not being used. The bottom line is that it's not even being used by these games.
Well, I'm just saying though, we haven't got all that speed SSD technology and the IO and the shit because we have an RTX IO, we haven't put it up yet. But we haven't even got to our thing because of the pandemic fucked up the whole PC market, you know what I mean? So when we get in the 5th generation and y'all have a fucking 5th generation architecture, we can make comparisons. But also, that's why I say also it's not even fair because the PC is not, and 1060 is like fucking, I don't know, like so many gens ago, you know what I mean? So when you get these weaker cards and shit, not only are they weaker in power, they're weaker when it comes to architecture and technology put into those cards. So you can't have a fair assessment when you have cards that are vastly generational differences and shit, you know what I mean? So the whole argument, once again, PC and consoles is a dumbass argument. If you like the PC, play PC. If you like consoles, play consoles. If you're not a fuckboy, you'll play everything, I guess.
And you look, confidence is quiet. That's what Aloy said to the boss, right? If you're so confident about your hardware, ain't nobody saying nothing. I don't even see you say anything, Jemiah, unless somebody come at you. You quiet as shit about your investments.
Both, so I know.
But not only that, but you have a preference, but you have both, but you still don't be popping that shit for no reason. It's dumb. When I see Digital Foundry, I know you don't like Digital Foundry. You're like, who the fuck appointed these motherfuckers? Because it's like,
I can't take away from the game. You know what I mean? Like the game is just gorgeous. Like what? Like how was a downplay for what reason? You know what I mean? Like
especially if you have the hardware. If you have the hardware, you like technology, you're like, yo, that'd be cool. Like you, because I know in your direction, you're like, yo, Horizon and the PS5, this look nice, but wait till you see what the PC could do with these new graphics cards. It's not like, oh, the PS5 is weak. You're like excited about the prospects of the next architecture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it trickles down into what? The consoles. So when the PS5 Pro come out and it has that new fucking AMD tech that's 5th gen, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, damn, the PS5 Pro is fucking pretty beefy. You know what I mean? Like everything is good at that. AMD is definitely good at taking a little bit of shit and making a lot out of it.
they are. That's funny though. They are. The console saved their life, man, because they were shit.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, thank you for your contributions. Thank you everybody that was in this bitch. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to go onto the YouTube channel and subscribe. You'll hear the whole conversation. I'm gonna try to break it. I'm gonna try to find the most pertinent part of this conversation and make it into a separate video. And if you want to go back, if you have a long drive somewhere and listen to this ridiculousness, then that's going to be available for all of you guys. Listen, I really appreciate all your contributions, and you guys take care, man. I'm a game. I'm gonna probably chill out then game. But peace out, guys.